In this video, you're going to learn how to make eating healthy a lifestyle and not a duty. Basically, a healthy diet is the basis for a well-functioning body. It's an important part of leading a healthy lifestyle. Food is the source of energy for all of our bodily functions and directly affects how our bodies and minds function in every stage of life. There are several details that are involved in eating healthy, including moderation, variety, and balance. Now, a person should try to balance different nutrients in food, like protein food, vegetables, dairy products, and grains, while minimizing alcohol, processed food, and saturated fats. And I bet that you didn't know that eating a variety of food from each food group helps a person to get all of the important nutrients. Healthy eating helps to prevent conditions like heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, and some types of cancer. Protein helps in repairing body tissues, while carbohydrates provide the body with energy. Therefore, making healthy eating a habit that will go a long way in ensuring the health of an individual. But remember this, it shouldn't be a duty to eat healthy. It should be adopted as a constant lifestyle. Generally, we all know the benefits of having a healthy body. But however, a lot of people don't really know how to obtain and sustain a healthy body. That's where the real challenge is. But did you know that many of the sicknesses and diseases that we see today are the result of indifferent or ignorant attitudes towards necessary self-care, poor eating habits, and always thinking that, it won't happen to me? Well, just think about this. How many patients can foresee that they're going to get sick? Because most of the time when it hits them, it's already too late. There's a golden old saying of, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. A high percentage of people can have preventable diseases if they have sufficient and accurate knowledge on nutrition and supplements. The key to a balanced diet is to eat in moderation. It is an important tip to eating healthily. Eating in moderation is a way of life, not a way of dieting. If you choose to practice this health tool, you may just find a new sense of confidence and awareness of yourself and your body. Now, you can choose which path you wish to take to make your life's journey a fulfilling, joyful, and healthy one. Start by making today healthier than yesterday. But you're probably asking, how can I do that? Well, number one, you set achievable goals. These are goals that are going to gradually change your health status and overall lifestyle into a better and healthier one. You're going to see and feel the difference once you start working on achieving these goals in a timely manner. Number two, begin with cultivating the right mindset that will fuel your willpower to stay on track, but also changes your daily mood to strive for the better. It is extremely essential that you learn to feel good about what you're doing and how you're going to transform. And finally, number three, always think to yourself that you look good, because it increases your self-esteem. If you look at people who are struggling with mental disorders related to eating habits, let's say anorexia, where they refuse to eat, or maybe even bulimia nervosa, also known as binge eating, you're going to see the mental pattern falls into the same category, which they think that they're not good enough. But the truth is, it's a mental illness that leads an individual to problematic eating disorders that harm one's overall health and lifestyle, and it can be life-threatening as well. Therefore, it's super important to have a positive mindset about your own body and how you see yourself. Now, let me ask you a question. What do you know about mindset? Now, I'm sure you've heard about how mindset plays the biggest role in determining your actions. And yes, it is indeed true. Your mindset is the fuel to your actions. When you feel good about yourself, you will look good. And you might not be good enough now, but don't worry. Don't beat yourself up. All you have to do is to keep a positive mindset. And not just that. A fitter and healthier you leads to higher productivity as well. And the truth is, most people think that a diet is associated with weight loss, bodybuilding, and good body shapes. But what they've forgotten is that a diet is equally important in overall health and well-being. By taking the time to learn how to eat healthy, you've stepped onto the route that leads to an in-shape, healthy body. And finally, take a minute to think over this famous quote. Success is a journey, not a destination. Now take that quote and replace the word success with the word fitness. Learning how to make the correct decisions in your nutrition will convert to a healthy lifestyle that's never ending. Begin to construct the habits that will step up your enjoyment and quality of life today. In this video, you'll learn about all of the benefits in eating healthy. Now, before we get to the benefits in eating healthy, let me ask you a question. Did you know that eating nutritiously is one of the most important things you can do to enhance and maintain your health? A healthy diet can balance out your body and allows it to function in its most efficient state. Eating nutritionally balanced meals helps the body to work to its full potential, which is particularly important for people living with busy and tight schedules, or just people who are constantly feeling not energized and easily falling sick. Many people find that they can improve their quality of life and sense of well-being simply by focusing on the aspects of health that can be controlled and changed, like a healthy diet. As well, healthy eating can also stop or slow down the advancement of numerous chronic sicknesses like heart disease and diabetes, osteoporosis, and a few types of cancer. Eating healthy can also help you deal better with both physical and mental strain, operations, and even the common cold or influenza. Now, let's talk about the fundamentals of healthy living. 1. Consume an assortment of nutritious foods. 2. Eat in moderation. 3. Size matters, so limit your portions. Eating healthy can promote a lot of benefits to your body and also your life in general. When we eat the right kind of food, we are allowing the body to be properly nourished. Hence, as a result, we will be able to gain health benefits from our healthful efforts. There are 5 benefits altogether, which include that it can improve your immune system, it enhances your mood, your mental health, your energy, and you live longer. Number 1, it can improve your immune system. Good nutrition is essential to a strong immune system, which may offer protection from seasonal illness like the flu and other health problems, including cancers, arthritis, abnormal cell development, and allergies. A lot of sickness can be prevented if the right precaution is taken. Help protect yourself against infection and boost your immunity by including these nutrients into your eating plan. With a strong immune system, you're going to feel constantly boosted with energy and strength to carry out daily activities. Number 2, enhance your mood. And not just that, eating healthy can have a positive impact on your life by leading to a more sustained, elevated mood. Oh, and it can reduce stress as well. A healthy cognitive system is essential to regulating mood, and certain nutrients have a profound impact on maintaining normal brain function. When your body is in a chronic state of stress, it breaks down protein to prepare for battle, but certain foods have the ability to moderate the body's level of cortisol, the stress hormone. Number 3, boost your mental health. Nutrition is a key contributor to good mental health. It is one of the most obvious, yet under-recognized factors in the development of major trends in mental health. Food plays an important contributing role in the development, management, and prevention of specific mental health problems like schizophrenia, depression, and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, as well as Alzheimer's disease. Here are 5 foods that keep the mind working at its best: lean protein, leafy greens, fatty fish, whole grain, yogurt with active cultures. Number 4, boost your energy. Eating the right nutritive food can also boost your energy levels, making you prepared to face each day. Food can boost energy by supplying calories, by pushing your body to burn more calories more efficiently, and in some cases, by delivering caffeine. When you have an energized body and clear mind, it also increases our brain power. Eating healthy food can ensure you to achieve a balanced nutrition that can help to regulate your brain activity to fuel your mental power that will get you through your busiest days. 5. Live longer. Did you know that emerging nutrition science research, as well as data collected from people in their 90s and beyond, shows what, when, and how we eat has a profound influence on how long we live? Around the world, certain groups of people enjoy exceptionally long lives. Consider the lucky people of Okinawa. These Pacific Islanders have an average life expectancy of more than 81 years, compared to 78 in the United States and a worldwide average of just 67. A diet rich in fruits and vegetables, high in nutrients and low in calories is your best bet for a long life. It is vital for health and maintenance of your body. Some of the foods include broccoli, grapes, salad, avocado, olive oil, berries, and beans, along with grains and seeds, less red meat, fish, bananas, and organic food. In this video, we're going to talk about the alkaline foods versus acidic foods. Before going into detail, first you have to understand that food can be classified into two groups, namely the acidic food group and the alkaline food group. Now the question is, why are these foods categorized as such? The answer is because they affect the urine pH level when they're consumed. Our body's acid-alkaline balance, also known as pH, can affect our overall well-being. Whatever food we consume, once it enters into our body, it will undergo processing and becomes acidic. Too much acid consumption can deplete the minerals in our body, thus growing the risk of heart disease, kidney problems, and osteoporosis. That's why we need alkaline food as well. It helps to balance out the acidity in our body. Next, we'll talk about pH value. pH stands for power of hydrogen. It's a measure of the acidity or alkalinity of our body's fluids and tissues. The total pH scale ranges from 1 to 14, with 7 considered to be neutral. Our ideal pH is slightly alkaline, 7.3 to 7.45. If the body pH value is below 7, that means it's acidic, whereas if it's above 7, it's alkaline. Now let's talk about the most common form of pH imbalance. The most common form of pH imbalance is excess acidity. It can lead to numerous health issues, and it can even be life-threatening. An acidic pH can occur from an acid-forming diet, toxic overload, emotional stress, immune reactions, or any process that deprives the cells of oxygen and other nutrients. Assuming if the pH reaches acidic pH, the body will try to compensate it using the alkaline minerals. If the diet doesn't contain enough minerals to compensate, a buildup of acids in the cells will occur. A healthy body maintains adequate alkaline reserves to balance the acids in order to maintain this pH. Why do you think acidosis is more common in our society? The reason acidosis is more common in our society is mostly due to the typical human diet, which is far too high in acid-producing animal products. Things like meat, eggs, and dairy, and far too low in alkaline-producing foods like fresh vegetables. In addition to this, we consume acid-producing processed food like white flour, sugar, and drink acidic-producing beverages like coffee and soft drinks. We use too many drugs, which are acid-forming, and we use artificial chemical sweeteners like NutraSweet, Spoonful, Sweet and Low, Equal, or even aspartame, which are poisonous and extremely acid-forming. Now that we've already covered the reason for acidosis, let's move on to talk about its consequences. If these mineral losses and metabolic abnormalities continue, we can increase our risk for a number of conditions, including premature aging, osteoporosis, weak or brittle bones, fractures and bone spurs, mood swings, low energy and chronic fatigue, slow digestion and elimination, bladder and kidney conditions, including kidney stones, weight gain, obesity and diabetes, slow metabolism and the inability to lose weight, chronic inflammation, high blood pressure, weakened immunity. One of the best methods we can do to correct an overly acidic body is to clean up the diet and the lifestyle. To maintain health, the optimum diet should consist of 60% alkaline-forming food and 40% acid-forming food. To restore health, the diet should consist of 80% alkaline-forming food and 20% acid-forming food. Generally, alkaline-forming food consists of most fruits, green vegetables, spices, lentils, seasonings or herbs, and seeds and nuts. Whereas acid-forming food comprises of meat, fish, poultry, eggs, grains, and legumes. The alkaline diet is also known as the alkaline ash diet or acid alkaline diet. It emphasizes alkaline foods such as fruits, vegetables, and certain whole grains, which are low in caloric density. Healthy alkaline diet food involves the ideal balance between acidifying and alkalizing foods. Having an alkaline diet may have some potential in reducing morbidity, as well as mortality from chronic diseases. Here are a list of some alkalizing vegetables. Spinach. It's very low alkaline forming. It's moderate in alkaline, with a pH of 7.5 to 8.0, and spinach content raises alkalinity. Cabbage. Low alkaline forming food, with a moderate alkaline level of 0.75 to 0.80. It's also a good substitute for coca, and it's mineral rich. Celery is a very low alkaline forming food. Its moderate alkaline level has a pH of 7.5 to 8.0, and it elevates acid food 5.0 in alkaline direction. Capsaicum or bell peppers. Low alkaline forming food, with a moderate alkaline pH level of 7.5 to 8.0. It's a good substitute for coca, and it's mineral rich. A list of alkalizing fruits. Lemons. They're highly alkaline forming with a pH of 8.5 to 9.0 and an excellent remedy against colds, coughs, sore throats, heartburn, and gastro upsets. Limes are also extremely alkaline forming foods with a pH level of 8.5 to 9.0, and they purify the kidneys. Grapes are a very low alkaline forming food with a moderate alkaline pH level of 7.5 to 8.0. And bananas. They're a very low alkaline forming food with a moderate alkaline pH level of 7.5 to 8.0, and they also elevate the acid food of 5.0 in alkaline's direction. In this video, you'll learn everything about the food pyramid. Without further ado, let's get started. So what exactly is the food pyramid? Well, it's a simple visual guide to the types and proportions of food that we should eat every day for good health. Food that contains the same type of nutrients are grouped together on each of the shelves of the food pyramid. This gives you a choice of different foods from which to choose a healthy diet. Using a food pyramid is a tool to follow different dietary guidelines and is a good start in the right direction. It will help you to get the right balance of nutritious food within your calorie range. Now we'll further elaborate on the different layers of the food pyramid. There are 3 layers of the food pyramid, which include 1. The foundation layer, 2. The middle layer, and 3. The top layer. Now let's have a look at the foundation layer. The foundation layer includes the 3 plant-based food groups, which are fruits, grains, vegetables, and legumes. This layer makes up the largest portion of the pyramid, at around 70% of what we should eat. Plant food should make up the largest portion of our diet. Plant food contains a wide variety of nutrients, like vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. They're also the main source of carbohydrates and fiber in our diet. A significant convergence of evidence suggests that plant-based diets can help prevent and even reverse some of the top killer diseases in the Western world, and can be more effective than medication and surgery. Older children, teens, and adults should aim to have at least 2 servings of fruit and 5 servings of vegetables or legumes each day. From the grains food group, we should choose mostly whole grains like quinoa, oats, and brown rice, and wholemeal, whole grain, high cereal fiber varieties of bread, crisp breads, pasta, and cereal foods, or over highly processed, refined varieties. Now we move on to the middle layer. This layer includes yogurt, cheese, milk, and alternatives, and the lean meat, fish, eggs, and legumes food groups. Food in the milk, yogurt, cheese, and alternatives group primarily provides us with calcium and protein, plus other vitamins and minerals. This food group also refers to non-dairy options like soy, rice, or cereal milks, which have at least 100 milligrams per 100 milliliters of added calcium. Choose reduced fat options of these foods to limit excess kilojoules from saturated fat. Food in the lean meat, poultry, fish, eggs, nuts, seeds, and legumes section are our main sources of protein. This food group is rich in protein and is also a good source of other nutrients like iodine, iron, zinc, and vitamins, especially some B group vitamins. The animal food in this group also contains vitamin B12, and some of them contain omega-3 fatty acids. Now a look at the top layer. This layer refers to healthy fats that we need small amounts of every day to support heart health and brain function. The top level of the food pyramid consists of your non-essential foods, like fats, oil, and sweet. This is the only level of the pyramid that should be restricted. There are no serving guidelines for this level, and you should generally try to avoid foods that are high in fat or sugar. You should choose food that contains healthy fats instead of food that contains saturated fats and trans fat. Choose unrefined polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats from plant sources, like extra virgin olive oil, nuts, and seed oils. Limit the amount of saturated fat that you consume and avoid trans fat. We also get healthy fats from food in other food groups, such as seeds, avocados, fish, and nuts. We need these healthy fats to support our health and brain function. Healthy eating guidelines. The shape of the food pyramid immediately suggests that some foods are good and some should be eaten more often, but also that others aren't so good and should only be eaten occasionally. The layers represent major food groups that contribute to the total diet. But how do you link them together? 1. Choose water. 2. Increase herbs and spices. 3. Limit your salt and added sugar. 4. Limit sodium. And 5. Limit added sugar. Water. Water is one of the most essential elements to health. A mere 2% drop in our body's water supply can trigger signs of dehydration. A healthy sedentary adult living in a temperate climate should drink at least 1.5 liters of water per day. This level of water intake balances water loss and helps in keeping the body properly hydrated. The water you consume through food and drinks follows a very precise route to arrive in your cells, of which it is a vital constituent. Therefore, choose water as your main drink and avoid sugary options like soft drinks, sports drinks, and energy drinks. Increase herbs and spices. The use of herbs and spices has been incredibly important throughout history. Many were celebrated for their medicinal properties well before culinary use. If you're looking to round out your healthy lifestyle, you'll want to stock up on the following herbs and spices and use them generously in your cooking, or use them on their own to enhance the absorption and benefits received. Some of the best examples are arrowroot, cinnamon, turmeric, basil, mint, cayenne, dillweed and seed, and curry powder. Limit salt and added sugar. The food pyramid reminds us to limit our intake of salt and added sugar. This means avoiding adding salt or sugar to food when we're cooking or eating, and avoiding packaged foods and drinks that have salt or added sugar in the ingredients. Some suggestions that can help you reduce your salt and sugar dependency include eating more home-cooked meals, choosing frozen over canned, or delaying in salting. Even reducing these by small amounts can make us healthier. And last but not least, there are 5 stages of change that have been conceptualized for a variety of problem behaviors. Each of these stages describes an individual's attitude toward behavior change. Trying to change behavior before one is ready usually results in failure to develop new healthy behaviors. Small steps are the best bet for long-term results. These 5 stages include pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. Pre-contemplation. The stage at which there is no intention to change behavior in the immediate or foreseeable future. Many individuals in this state are unaware or under-aware of their problems. They may not be ready for change. A good strategy? Assess knowledge, attitudes, and beliefs, and provide information to build on the existing knowledge. Contemplation. The stage in which people are aware that a problem exists and are seriously thinking about overcoming it, but have not yet made a commitment to change or take any action. Making the leap from thinking about change to taking action can be hard. Asking yourself about the pros or the benefits, And the cons, or the things that get in the way of changing your habits, may be helpful. A good strategy is to discuss your motivation and barriers to change, and your possible solutions. Preparation. If you're in the preparation stage, you are about to take action. To get started, look at your list of pros and cons. How can you make a plan and move to action? Here's a good strategy. Assist in developing an action plan for change. Provide direction and encouragement. Action. The stage in which individuals modify their behavior, experiences, or their environment in order to overcome their problems. Action involves the most overt behavioral changes and requires a considerable commitment of time and energy. A good strategy? Reinforce decisions for change. Offer continued support and reinforcement for positive changes. Maintenance. Now that healthy eating and physical activity has become part of your routine, you need to keep things interesting, avoid slip-ups, and find ways to cope with what life throws at you. A good strategy? Add variety and stay motivated. Mix up your routine with new activities, physical activity buddies, recipes, rewards, and food. In this video, we're going to talk about food cholesterol. So, what exactly is cholesterol? Cholesterol is a waxy substance which is made in the body by the liver, but it's also found in some food that we eat on our daily lives. This soft waxy substance is not only found in your bloodstream, but also in every cell in your body, where it helps to produce cell membranes, hormones, vitamin D, and bile acids that help you digest fat. However, having too much cholesterol in the blood can increase your risk of getting heart and circulatory diseases. But where does cholesterol come from? Cholesterol comes from your body, as well as from what you eat. Now, there is about 75% of cholesterol that's made by your body, and the amount is determined by your family history. So, the remaining 25% of cholesterol comes from what you eat. The cholesterol level in your blood will increase if you eat food with saturated fats and trans fat. There are two main types of blood cholesterol. One is low-density lipoprotein, and two is high-density lipoprotein. Low-density lipoprotein, also known as the bad cholesterol, because it develops plaque which will clog the arteries and make them less flexible. It collects in the walls of your blood vessels, where it can cause blockages. Higher LDL levels put you at greater risk for a heart attack or stroke due to the narrowed artery when the clot is formed. This condition is called atherosclerosis. High-density lipoprotein, also known as good cholesterol, helps to discard the bad cholesterol away from the arteries and back to the liver, to break it down and pass the cholesterol from the body. In other words, HDL reduces, reuses, and recycles LDL cholesterol by transporting it to the liver, where it can be reprocessed. So, you will be protected from heart attacks and strokes when you have a healthy level of HDL cholesterol. Remember, you're not alone. About 100 million other Americans have high cholesterol. High cholesterol comes from a variety of sources, including your family history and what you eat. Here is a visual journey through the most common causes. Some of the most common causes of high blood cholesterol include your diet, your activity level, your age and gender, genetics, and cigarette smoking. A diet high in cholesterol, saturated fats, and trans fats can raise blood cholesterol levels and put you at risk for heart disease. You will find this unhealthy fat in food that comes from animals: beef, pork, milk, butter, veal, milk, cheese, and eggs contain saturated fat. Packaged food that contains palm oil, coconut oil, or cocoa butter may have a lot of saturated fat. You will also find saturated fat in sticks of margarine, vegetable shortening, and most cookies, crackers, chips, and other snacks. Your activity level. If your cholesterol numbers aren't where they should be, working out should be a key part of your Get Healthy strategy. By increasing your activity level, it will help you to lose or maintain your weight. Being overweight tends to increase the amount of low-density lipoprotein in your blood, the kind of lipoprotein that's been linked to heart disease. Whether you're a male or female, as you get older, your risk for heart disease increases dramatically. For instance, a 62-year-old man is 500 times more likely than a 22-year-old man to die from heart disease in the next year. In men, cholesterol levels generally level off after the age of 50. In women, cholesterol levels stay fairly low until menopause, after which they rise to about the same level as men. Your family history may also affect your cholesterol level. High cholesterol may run in your family. If family members have or had high cholesterol, you may also have it. There are over 100 genes that can affect blood fats and how these are metabolized in the body. Sometimes just one faulty gene is enough to increase your cholesterol to dangerous levels, and sometimes high cholesterol results from the small effects of many genes. Some people will have high cholesterol even if they follow a healthy, balanced diet, low in saturated fats and trans fat. These people may need to take cholesterol-lowering medicine as prescribed by their doctor. Cigarette smoking lowers your level of HDL, or good cholesterol. It also injures the lining of the blood vessels and increases the risk of developing blood clots, which contributes to atherosclerosis, or the hardening of the arteries. It damages the walls of your blood vessels, making them more likely to accumulate fatty deposits. Even inhaling secondhand cigarette smoke has been shown to lower HDL cholesterol. And now the top 5 tactics to improve your cholesterol level. Lifestyle changes can help reduce cholesterol, keep you off cholesterol-lowering medications, or enhance the effect of your medications. Here are 5 lifestyle changes to get you started. 1. Eat heart-healthy food. 2. Increase your physical activity. 3. Lose weight. 4. Drink alcohol only in moderation. 5. Quit smoking. Even if you have years of unhealthy eating under your belt, making a few changes in your diet can reduce cholesterol and improve your heart health. Therefore, replace foods that are high in saturated fat with healthier options that can lower blood cholesterol levels and improve lipid profiles. Exercise can improve cholesterol. Moderate physical activity can help raise high-density lipoprotein, or HDL cholesterol, the good cholesterol. The best plan for reducing your risk of cardiovascular disease is a combination of aerobic, or cardio, and resistance training. Spend an average of 40 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity aerobic activity 3 to 4 times a week to improve cholesterol levels as well as lower your blood pressure and risk for stroke and heart attack. For overall cardiovascular health, spend at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise or 75 minutes of vigorous exercise per week. You can mix up moderate and vigorous activity if you'd like. To stay motivated, find an exercise buddy or join an exercise group. And remember, any activity is helpful. Even taking the stairs instead of the elevator or doing a few sit-ups while watching television can make a difference. Examples of moderate intensity exercise include ballroom dancing, playing tennis, general gardening, or bicycling. Examples of vigorous intensity exercise include hiking uphill or with a heavy backpack, swimming laps, jogging, race walking or running, aerobic dancing, or bicycling. If you've already implemented the first 2 strategies, right diet and exercise, numbers on the scale may already be dropping. If not, make a concerted effort to lose weight since studies show that you may be able to reduce cholesterol levels significantly by losing 5% to 10% of your body weight. For long-term success with weight loss, the Mayo Clinic suggests making small, sustainable changes. Slowly incorporate physical activity into your daily routine in simple ways, such as brisk walking or doing simple house chores. Bring a healthy lunch from home instead of eating out. It all adds up. All of these can have a big impact on your weight, which could help lower your cholesterol. You should only drink alcohol in moderation. Moderate use of alcohol has been linked with higher levels of HDL cholesterol. A few studies have found that people who drink alcohol in moderation have lower heart disease and might even live longer than those who abstain. Alcohol has also been tied to a lower risk of blood clots and decreased levels of inflammation markers. Too much alcohol can lead to serious health problems, including stroke, high blood pressure, and heart failure. Quit smoking. The most well-documented impact that smoking has on cholesterol is how it lowers levels of high-density lipoprotein, or HDL. Smoking makes all heart health indicators worse. It causes inflammation, not just in your lungs, but throughout your entire body, which can contribute to atherosclerosis, blood clots, and risk of heart attack. If you smoke, stop. Quitting might improve your HDL cholesterol level. Studies have shown that HDL levels often go up soon after a person quits smoking. In this video, we're going to talk about what are the recommended foods that we should consume to provide the best nutrients for our bodies. Now, why is it so important to eat the right food? Eating the right food means providing your body with the right amount of nutrition, and you can do it with a proper meal that is healthy while not trying to deprive yourself from other food. To top things off, you can eat right and exercise regularly to achieve a well-balanced, healthy mind and body. Consuming food from a wide variety of sources helps maintain a healthy and interesting diet to ensure your body has the nutrients it needs to help reduce the risk of disease. The best food choices include vegetables, fruits, whole grain, dietary fiber, healthy carbohydrates, calcium, and healthy fats. Now let's talk about vegetables. One of the first best food choices is vegetables. I'm sure that each and every one of us know the importance of vegetables in our daily diet, but do we really know why it's so useful in reducing weight? You may not know, so without further ado, let's begin. Vegetables are useful in reducing weight as they provide bulk and give a feeling of being full. And furthermore, the bulk and water count aids in the treatment of constipation. To get the best out of vegetables, they should be taken raw or just slightly cooked by steaming, boiling, broiling, or stewing. Green leafy vegetables provide a source of many nutrients, including iron, fiber, vitamins A and C, and potassium, which helps to purify the blood, heal the intestinal tract, anemia, and reduce the risk of developing diabetes. A good example of green vegetables are spinach, cabbage, and broccoli, where they are best served after being steamed or lightly boiled. Red and yellow vegetables like tomatoes, pumpkin, eggplant, potato, carrot, beetroot, bitter gourd rich in nutrients, and bitter gourd are rich in nutrients as well. They contain vitamin A, vitamin B, iron, potassium, calcium, and fiber, which can improve body immunity and help to boost the body's metabolism. Now let's talk about fruits. Fruits provide nutrients vital for health and the maintenance of your body. People who eat fruit as part of an overall healthy diet generally have a reduced risk of chronic diseases. The healthiest choices are fresh fruits or frozen without added sweeteners, as the sugar from fruits, or fructose, can be quite high. Fruit is naturally low in calories, fat, and sodium, and rich in folate, vitamin C, potassium, and fiber. Some high-potassium fruits include bananas, peaches, oranges, honeydew, and cantaloupe. The fiber in fruit helps to lower cholesterol, and it protects against heart disease. Vitamin C in food like strawberries and citrus help with wound healing and keeps gums and teeth healthy. Now let's talk about whole grain. Eating more whole grains is an easy way to add a layer of health insurance to your life. Whole grains are better sources of fiber and other important nutrients like magnesium, selenium, potassium, protein, antioxidants, fiber, B vitamins, and iron. Whole grains have been shown to reduce the risk of heart disease by lowering blood pressure and cholesterol levels, along with blood coagulation. Whole grains have also been found to reduce the risks of many types of cancer. Fiber is important for healthy bowel function, as it helps to reduce constipation and diverticulosis. B vitamins help the body release energy from carbohydrates, fat, and protein. Iron is used to carry oxygen in the blood. Selenium is important for a healthy immune system, and magnesium is a mineral used in building bones and releasing energy from muscles. Some of the healthy whole grains include whole wheat, bulgur, oatmeal, quinoa, brown rice, and whole grain barley and corn. Now on to dietary fiber. Dietary fiber has many health benefits. Consuming foods which are high in fiber can reduce your risk of heart diseases, stroke, diabetes, some cancers, as well as losing weight. Foods that are high in fiber are usually derived from natural and unprocessed food. Good sources of fiber can be found in nuts, barley, whole grains, oatmeal, wheat cereals, and beans. For vegetables, it can be found in celery, carrots, and tomatoes. Whereas for fruits, it can be found in berries, apples, pears, and citrus fruits. It is best to start your day off with whole grain cereals or include unprocessed wheat bran into your preferred cereal to increase your fiber intake. Now we'll discuss healthy carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are an essential part of a healthy diet. Carbohydrates provide the body with glucose, which is converted to energy used to support bodily functions and physical activity. Most carbohydrates are naturally occurring in plant-based foods, such as grains. Food manufacturers also add carbohydrates to processed foods in the form of starch or added sugar. Some of the common sources of naturally occurring carbohydrates include grains, milk, nuts, seeds, vegetables, and fruits. Carbohydrate quality is important. Some types of carbohydrate-rich foods are better than others. The healthiest sources of carbohydrates, unprocessed or minimally processed whole grains, vegetables, fruits, and beans, promote good health by delivering fiber, vitamins, minerals, and a host of important phytonutrients. Now on to calcium. Calcium is important for overall health. It also plays an important role in muscle contraction, transmitting messages through the nerves, and the release of hormones. Almost every cell in our body uses calcium in some way. Our body requires calcium to maintain healthy bones and teeth. Dairy products are a good source of calcium, which they are also easily digested and absorbed into the body, like milk, unsweetened yogurt, and cheese. Vegetables like kale, romaine lettuce, celery, broccoli, fennel, green beans, cabbage, summer squash, Brussels sprouts, and asparagus, as well as crimini mushrooms, are rich sources of calcium. Moreover, beans like black beans, white beans, pinto beans, kidney beans, black-eyed peas, or even baked beans are excellent choices for gaining calcium. Protein provides us the energy for our body to work, and overconsumption of protein can be detrimental to our kidneys. Fish, chicken, or plant-based proteins like beans, nuts, and soy are the ones that contain high-quality protein. Now let's talk about healthy fats. People are often concerned about excess dietary fat, but not getting enough good fats may also cause health problems. Eating fat can be heart healthy if you pick the right kind. The fat that we consume is digested and either used for energy, stored in fat tissues, or incorporated into other body tissues and organs. Fats exert powerful effects within the body. We need adequate fat to support metabolism, the health of various body tissues, immunity, cell signaling, hormone production, and the absorption of many nutrients, like vitamins A and D. Having enough fat will also help keep you feeling full between meals. Here are some of the examples of high-fat food that are actually incredibly healthy and nutritious. Foods like avocados, almonds, fatty fish, hazelnuts, cheese, dark chocolate, pecans, pumpkin seeds, and sesame seeds. In this video, we're going to talk about cooking up some simple, healthy meals. When it comes down to feeding your body and mind, nothing is superior to preparing your food from scratch, with quality ingredients and served with love. Now, have you ever wondered why it's so important to prepare your meals at home? This is because by doing so, it allows you to control the amount of salt, oil, and other things that you use in your recipes. This in turn reduces the possibility of clogged arteries and weight gain. And not just that. Taking the time to plan your weekly menu not only helps to save time and money, but also provides a way to create meals with a balance of fat, protein, and carbohydrates, plus all of the essential vitamins and minerals needed for the child and adult's body. Now that we know of the importance of preparation of meals at home, let's move on to talk about meal planning. One of the best ways to make sure that you eat well is to plan your meals ahead of time. It is a vital part of eating a healthy diet, and there are many benefits of meal planning. These benefits include adding variety, eliminating the last-minute stress, making shopping easier, saving time and money, helping you to avoid unhealthy choices. Cooking healthy recipes and meals doesn't have to be difficult or time-consuming. These healthy recipes will please the whole family. Start your day off with a spring in your step with these simple yet healthy recipes that will keep you energized for the entire day. But how simple can it be? Well, how about as simple as 5 minutes of prep time without any cooking needed? Sounds good, doesn't it? Let's dive in to know more. Here are 8 healthy recipes. Breakfast fruit cups, papaya boat, tropical eye opener, chicken tomatillo salad, corn and green chili salad, avocado garden salad, rosemary lemon chicken with vegetables, spaghetti with turkey meat sauce. Let's talk about the breakfast fruit cup. All you need are 2 oranges, peeled and seeded and sliced into bite-sized pieces, 1 medium banana, peeled and sliced, 1 tablespoon of raisins, 1/3 cup of low-fat vanilla yogurt, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Begin by getting a small bowl and combining the fruit. Then divide the fruit equally into 4 bowls. Lastly, put a rounded tablespoon of low-fat yogurt over fruit in each bowl. Then sprinkle on equal amounts of ground cinnamon before serving. The papaya boat. Prepare 2 papayas, rinsed and peeled, 1 medium banana, peeled and sliced, 1 kiwi fruit, peeled and sliced, and 1 cup of strawberries, about 11 ounces, a can of mandarin oranges, drained, and 3/4 cups of low-fat vanilla yogurt, along with 1 tablespoon of honey and 2 teaspoons of chopped fresh mint, but that's optional. Now, cut the papayas in half lengthwise. Scoop out the seeds. Place each half in a medium plate. Then place an equal amount of banana, kiwi fruit, strawberries, and oranges in each half of the papaya. Combine your yogurt, honey, and mint and then mix it well, and spoon it over the fruit before serving. Tropical eye opener. Prepare your mango, peeled and seeded, and cut into chunks, along with 1 large banana, peeled and sliced, 1 cup of undrained pineapple chunks, and 3/4 cups of low-fat vanilla frozen yogurt, along with 1 cup of ice cubes. Now combine all of the ingredients in a blender and blend until the mixture is smooth and you can pour into glasses to serve. Chicken tomatillo salad. Prepare the dressing with 1 cup of husked and quartered tomatillos, 3 tablespoons light Italian dressing, 1 fresh Anaheim chili, seeded and chopped, and 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. As for the salad itself, prepare 2 cups of chopped cooked chicken or turkey, along with 1 cup of chopped red bell pepper, 1 cup of frozen corn, thawed, and 1 cup of chopped carrots, and slice 4 green onions, and also chop up a 1/4 cup of cilantro. Now in a blender or a food processor, puree the tomatillos with dressing, Anaheim chili, and ground black pepper, then set it aside. Then combine all of the salad ingredients into a large bowl and toss. Drizzle the dressing over the salad and toss well to coat. Then cover and chill for 20 minutes or make a day ahead of time to allow flavors to blend and serve on lettuce-lined plates or bowls. Corn and green chili salad. All that you need are 2 cups of frozen corn. Also, 1 10-ounce can of diced tomatoes with green chilies, drained, a half tablespoon of vegetable oil, 1 tablespoon of lime juice, 1/4 cup sliced green onions, and 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh cilantro. Now combine all of the ingredients in a medium bowl, mix well, and serve. And now the avocado garden salad. This salad might need a longer prep time, but there's still no cooking needed. Prepare 6 cups of torn or cut mixed salad greens, 3 medium tomatoes chopped, 5 green onions chopped, 1 small cucumber peeled and chopped, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 1/4 cup teaspoon garlic powder, a half teaspoon of ground black pepper, a half teaspoon of salt, and 1 large avocado peeled. Now mix the salad greens, tomatoes, onions, and cucumber in a large serving bowl. In a small bowl, mix lemon juice, garlic powder, ground black pepper, and salt. Pour over the salad mixture and toss it together. Now cut the avocado in half lengthwise. Remove the pit and peel the avocado halves. Then slice into thin wedges, about 1/8 inch thick. Arrange the avocado slices on top of the salad and serve immediately. Rosemary lemon chicken with vegetables. Prepare 1/2 pound of small red potatoes, or about 3 potatoes, rinsed and cubed. 1½ cups of baby carrots, 1 cup of green beans, 2 trimmed boneless, skinless chicken breasts, halved, which should equal about 1 pound, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1/4 cup of lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of honey divided, 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh rosemary, or 1 teaspoon of dried rosemary, along with 1 teaspoon of grated lemon peel and 1/4 cup teaspoon ground black pepper. In a medium pot, bring 8 cups of water to a boil. Add the potatoes and carrots and green beans and cook for 5 minutes, then drain and set to the side. Cut the chicken breasts in half. Place olive oil and the chicken breasts in a medium skillet and cook over medium for 5 minutes on each side. Then add your potatoes, carrots, green beans, and all of the remaining ingredients to the skillet, except for 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Cook this over low heat for 5 minutes or more until the chicken is fully cooked. Then add the remaining lemon juice to taste and serve. Spaghetti with turkey meat sauce. You will need a non-stick cooking spray, 3/4 pound of lean ground turkey, 2 cans of diced tomatoes, which should equal to about 14½ ounces, and juice reserved, 1 green bell pepper, finely chopped, 1 cup of finely chopped onion, 2 cloves of garlic finely chopped, 1 teaspoon of dried crushed oregano, 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper, and 1 pound of spaghetti noodles. Now spray a large skillet with the non-stick cooking spray. Preheat the skillet over medium heat. Add the turkey and cook, stirring occasionally for 5 to 10 minutes or until cooked through. Now drain the fat. Stir in the tomatoes with their juice, bell pepper, onion, garlic, and oregano, along with the ground black pepper, and bring it to a boil and reduce heat. Cover and simmer for 15 minutes, stirring occasionally. Meanwhile, cook the spaghetti according to the package directions, then drain well and serve the sauce over the spaghetti. In this video, we are going to talk about the general guideline to overall well-being. Before going in depth, we should understand that healthy eating is not about strict dietary limitations, staying unrealistically thin, or depriving yourself of the food you love. Rather, it's about feeling awesome, improving your health, stabilizing your mood, and having more energy. Do you ever feel overwhelmed by all of the conflicting diet and nutrition advice out there? Well, you're not alone. It seems that for every expert who tells you a certain food is good for you, you'll find another saying exactly the opposite. Quite often, convenient foods are laced with too much sugar, salt, and other ingredients, which are not considered healthy. These ingredients can often be hidden, so it's important, as a part of your education, to learn to read food labels while at the grocery. Learn what ingredients to avoid, as major components are usually listed first in the food labels. Being educated on what is contained within various types of food will help you weed out much of the unhealthy food you may otherwise end up eating. Permanently improving your eating habits requires a thoughtful approach in which you reflect, replace, and reinforce. By following these simple approaches, you can cut through the confusion and learn how to create a varied, healthy, and tasty diet that's good for your mind and your body. Reflect on all of your specific eating habits, both good and bad, and your common triggers for unhealthy eating. Replace your unhealthy eating habits with healthier ones. Reinforce your new, healthier eating habits. You should create a list of your eating habits. The simplest way to track what you eat and drink is by setting up your diary in a notebook or downloading a food journal app on your phone. This will help you uncover your eating habits. Keep track of everything that goes into your mouth, including all snacks, drinks, meals, and even nibbles of food that you eat while you cook. Don't forget to track your total water intake as well. Tracking how much water you drink will give you insight into whether or not you need to consume more water to help you stay hydrated. After you've kept your journal for a few days, star or highlight areas where you may think you can make changes. For example, you might notice that you don't drink enough water, or you typically skip breakfast. These are great areas where you can make healthy changes. Highlight the habits. Highlight the habits on your list that may be leading you to overeat. Common eating habits that can lead to weight gain are: you eat when you're not hungry, you ignore nutrition advice, you're always cleaning your plate, you eat too fast, you are always eating dessert, going wild on the weekends, you hang out with unhealthy pals, you habitually use food as therapy, you skip meals or perhaps just breakfast. Awareness is always the first step to change, so make sure you've identified all of the triggers that cause you to engage in those habits. Identify a few that you'd like to work on improving first. Habitual behaviors are driven by cravings for rewards or avoidance of negative consequences. Don't forget to pat yourself on the back for the things you're doing right. It's important to celebrate, which is just as true in life as it is with habits. We want to continue to do things that make us feel good. And because an action needs to be repeated for it to become a habit, it's especially important that you reward yourself each time that you practice your new habit. For example, if you've chosen to have salad instead of a burger as your dinner, celebrate your progress with a reward. It's time to celebrate. Always remember to reward yourself as you make simple changes that in the end will result in achieving your overall goal. Create a list of cues by reviewing your food diary to become more aware of when and where you're triggered to eat for reasons other than hunger. Note how you're typically feeling at those times. Often, a particular emotional state or an environmental cue is what encourages eating for non-hunger reasons. The common triggers for eating when you're not hungry include suffering from the clean plate syndrome, the clock says so, before or after a stressful meeting or a situation at work, sitting at home while watching television, opening up the cabinet and seeing your favorite snack, coming home after work and having no idea what's for dinner. You can't say no to food pushers, and feeling bored or tired and thinking that food might offer a pick-me-up. Now let's talk about a 4-step eating habit hack. Number 1. Mark the cues on your list that you encounter on a daily basis or a weekly basis. 2. Now ask yourself these questions for each cue you've marked. 3. Replace unhealthy eating habits with new, healthier ones. 4. Finally, reinforce your new eating habits. Mark the cues on your list that you encountered on a daily or weekly basis. For example, attending a birthday party may be a trigger for you to have a cheat day to overeat, so simply have that piece of cake that doesn't fit into your daily food intake goals. Thus, you may want to attend as many birthday parties as possible as a cue for you to overeat. Some cues may be absurd, as not going to the gym as a cue to binge, but don't fret upon it. Simply mark them down for now. Now ask yourself these questions for each cue that you've marked. Obviously, your answer will be no, and you felt like a pig after you binge. Well, your answer may vary. Just write them down to have clarity and create the pain and disgust so you know you must change. So you know that you must change. Ask yourself, how can I avoid this cue or situation? After noticing the cues and the pain your non-empowering actions brought upon you, find a way to avoid that situation. This option works best for cues that don't involve another party. For example, you choose a different route to work instead of your usual route to avoid that McDonald's along the way. Or you drink lots of water when you realize that you're in binge mode. Or change your work desk that was once facing the vending machine or the coffee machine. You may also choose another place to study instead of your home kitchen. But there are just some events you can't avoid, like birthday parties of someone important or a staff meeting. So what do you do? Ask yourself this question. For things that I cannot avoid, what can I do differently to eat healthier? The key here is to plan ahead, and when you ask this question beforehand, your brain will naturally find better alternatives to make sure that you stick to your fitness goals. Maybe it's bringing healthy snacks to work, especially when there are long hours ahead. Track your food and make sure it fits your daily macronutrients, and don't overeat. Being food conscious in a party is a good way to control yourself. Eat lots of veggies before attending a party. Being filled before the party is a good way not to binge. Replace unhealthy eating habits with newer, healthier ones. Now that you've asked yourself the above questions and have a clear sense of awareness, you simply have to take action to replace your old eating patterns. Perhaps you overeat because you're eating too fast. Eat slowly. Perhaps you overeat because of hunger, but due to stress, anxiety, anger, or frustrations. Replace it with non-eating activities like going for a jog, visiting a friend, read an uplifting book, or talk to your family. You'll definitely feel better, and you'll totally forget about your hunger. The key to lasting change is to plan ahead. So write down your daily, weekly, and monthly fitness goals, what your food choices are, your body weight goals, and stick to it. Finally, reinforce your new eating habits. Rome is not built in a day, and neither is your body and your habits. You need to practice your new eating habit day by day, week by week, to rewire your old eating pattern to a new one. But this is the hardest part because it requires patience. Stick with it. Believe that it's all worth it in the end. Special tips to make this work include having a mastermind group to keep each other accountable. Join a community, a challenge group, and update your close friends and family about your goals. Picture yourself eating healthy greens and having those washboard abs. Vibrant, happy, and full of energy. One of the best ways to reinforce these habits and make them ingrained into your subconscious mind is to write out a list of 100 reasons why you want to be fit or eat healthily. Having 100 reasons why is going to pull you towards your goal, creating a gravity that guarantees your success, as many burnt out after pushing too hard for far too long. Thus, having 100 reasons creates that gravity to pull you and your fitness goals almost effortlessly. So there you have it. 4-step eating habit hacks and all the crucial information that you'll ever need to start eating healthy and live a long, strong, fruitful, and fulfilling life.
Muscle Building 101, a beginner's guide to building muscle and increasing strength. Narrated by John Hawkes. Introduction. Why it is so hard to build muscle? Hello and welcome to our short introductory guide on the building blocks of muscle building and increasing strength. If you're like many people, myself included, who have a hard time building muscle, you've tried every supplement and muscle building workout routine that promise big fat gains, but you're still just as scrawny as the day you decided to start building muscle. Don't worry, you are not alone. Building muscle is hard, and it's something many people struggle with. There are a few reasons why it is so hard to build muscle. The first thing that most people do wrong is approach it with a wrong mindset. To put things shortly, in order to build muscle like you want, you need to create a muscle-building lifestyle and really get your head in the game. At that point, muscle building becomes something more than what you do when you go to the gym. The other reasons people have a hard time building muscle is that they don't have the right diet and they're not doing the right exercises. What you put into your body will have a huge impact on what your body is able to do, which is why diet is such a vital part of muscle building. The right exercises, on the other hand, will properly impact the muscles in such a way that they will gain like you want them to. The good news is that even if you have no muscle at all right now, you can gain the muscle you want by starting your foundation off with the advice found in this very book. Then move on to more advanced theory and programs depending on your individual goals. Keep reading to find out everything you need to know to get started with muscle building so you can finally have the muscles and body that you want. If you are willing to put in the work, anything is possible. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. My current situation. The first thing you want to do before starting any type of exercise routine is an evaluation of your current physical state. While there is quite a bit of self-assessment that will go into this, you should also pay a visit to your doctor before you start on your muscle building journey. Why visit a doctor? Visiting your doctor for a health assessment before starting a new exercise routine is important for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, your doctor will be able to tell you if you are physically capable of doing what you are setting out to do. There are some medical conditions that may require you to do modified strength training exercises, and your doctor can help direct you in this. The other reason you'll want to check with your doctor before you begin is if you are planning on taking any supplements. While the vast majority of protein supplements are perfectly safe, there are some types of supplement that could interfere with medication or medical conditions, so you'll want to double check with your doctor before starting any supplements. Self-evaluation checklist. As you get ready to start building muscle, you'll need to self-evaluate your physical state. This will help you know how far you've come when you re-evaluate every week or month. Without this baseline, it would be hard to know if you're actually gotten bigger muscles or improved your muscle-to-fat ratio, so be sure to get as accurate of numbers as possible. Here is a checklist of everything you will want to get for a baseline before you begin. Body weight, body fat percentage, biceps measurement, triceps measurement, quadriceps measurement, calves measurement, waist measurement, chest measurement, bust measurement for women only, neck measurement, number of push-ups done, number of crunches done, 1 RM for every exercise. 1 RM stands for 1 repetition maximum. This refers to the maximum amount of weight that you are able to lift with just one lift. Because lifting the maximum amount is dangerous, you should instead calculate your 1 RM by doing several repetitions with a weight you're more comfortable with. Then use an online calculator to find out this number. Be sure to keep the list of these measurements somewhere that you can refer to often as you reevaluate to make sure that you are on track with your goals. It will also help you to keep this handy when you are setting goals for yourself, so you know how high to set the bar for yourself based on where you are now. Now that we have set a path towards muscle building and assessed our current situation, the next thing to get in order is our mind. Our mindset, to be a bit more precise, which is what we will cover in the next part. Chapter 2. Getting your head in the game. If you don't believe in yourself, then you'll never reach your goals. It's as simple as that. By saying that you can't do something, then you are condemning yourself to failure before you even start. For that reason, the most important step of your muscle building journey is to get your mindset right by getting your head in the game. First and foremost, you need to think of yourself as a muscle builder, not simply someone who does some muscle building exercises a few times a week. This will allow you to live a lifestyle that focuses on building muscle. As your lifestyle revolves around muscle building, every decision you make about what you eat and how you spend your time will help you build muscle. How to set goals. Before you really start muscle building, you'll need to set goals for yourself. It's important for your goals to be attainable, or else you'll never reach them. More than that, you're more likely to give up before reaching your goals if they're set too high. So, keep that in mind as you start the 3-step process of setting muscle building goals. Step 1. Set a 5-year goal. The first goal you're going to set for yourself won't be reached for several years, but it gives you something long-term to reach for that will keep you motivated to keep going. This goal should be difficult enough that it will take you a lot of work over a long period of time to reach it, but easy enough that you will be able to get it in about 5 years. Your 5-year goal is going to look different from everybody else's. It could be to get your body measurements to a certain size, your muscle percentage to a certain number, or your 1 RM up to a certain weight. Whatever your 5-year goal, be as specific as possible so you know exactly what you're aiming for. This helps in the long run and right now as you continue the goal-setting process. Step 2. Set monthly goals. Break down your 5-year goal into 60 months and it becomes significantly easier to reach. Rather than simply going for one long-term goal, you're now able to focus on just one goal per month. This not only makes the process less overwhelming, but it also helps you feel motivated to keep going as you reach for your goals every month and see your progress much more often. To make things easier, you may want to focus on just one part of your body every month. If, for example, your goal is to reach a certain 1 RM for every exercise, make your goal for February to add a couple pounds to your squat. While you should be still working on the other parts of your body, allowing yourself to focus on one per month will simplify your process. Step 3. Set up rewards. What's something huge what you've always wanted but never allow yourself to get for whatever reason? Set that up as your ultimate reward that you will indulge in only once you reach your 5-year goal. That may involve taking a vacation or buying a new vehicle. Whatever it is, set up this reward and it will help you self-motivate. You'll also want to set up smaller rewards at the beginning of every month that you can enjoy if you reached your goal for the month. They should be smaller goals that will keep you motivated during that month. It could be something like going to see a movie at the end of the month or buying yourself something you can add to a collection. Once your goals and rewards are in place, you're ready to get started as a muscle builder. If you are not sure what goals are reasonable, then ask a muscle builder you know to help you set goals. You could also look for online muscle building communities to find out more about what are attainable 5-year and monthly goals. Now that you have assessed your current situation, got the all clear from your doctor, and set some clear and precise goals for your muscle building efforts, it's time to start looking at the day-to-day things you need to do to see the results you're looking for. In the next part, we're going to look at foundational nutrition guidelines for muscle building. Chapter 3. Nutrition Guidelines for Building Muscle. Part of your new muscle building lifestyle involves changes in the food that you eat. Getting the right balance of macronutrients will help your body do what it needs to do in order to build muscle so you can reach your goals. For that reason, we're going to detail the 3 macronutrients and let you know about how many of each you should be eating every day. Before we get too much into diet, keep in mind that every body is different, and what works for one person may not work for another. That's why these are just guidelines. We recommend that you track your food intake at the beginning of your journey and make changes as necessary until you've established the perfect balance for you. Here are the 3 macronutrients. Protein. This is the most important macronutrient for muscle building because it's needed to build muscle. Protein is made up of amino acids, and it's these that are used by the body to rebuild damaged muscles, among other processes in the body. If you want your body to build muscle quickly and effectively, you need to make sure that you're getting enough protein in your diet. For most people, 30% of your calories should be coming from protein every day. The best sources of protein include milk, meat, beans, seafood, and eggs. If you're worried about not getting enough protein from food, you may consider adding a protein supplement which can help you reach your daily protein goals. Fat. There are several types of fat, and getting the healthy kinds will help you build muscle. Fat helps build muscle by aiding in the recovery process. It also aids in a number of processes in the body that keep your health overall, including hormone production and heart health. As you stay healthy by getting plenty of healthy fats, you'll be able to exercise more. Fats should make up around 30% of your daily caloric intake. Focus on unsaturated fats and essential fatty acids, which are both healthy. You can get these from avocados, fish, nuts, and seeds. Saturated and trans fats, which come from vegetable oil, margarine, and animals, should be avoided at all costs, as this will only do damage to your body. Carbohydrates. Despite this macronutrient getting a bad rap recently, carbohydrates are necessary for your health and an important part of bodybuilding. These are where you get your energy from, which you will need to get in your workouts. While simple carbohydrates like sugars are not good for you and will promote fat storage, complex carbs will give you the energy you need and actually encourages fat burning. The remaining 40% of your daily caloric intake should come from carbohydrates. This will come from things like whole wheat, bread and pasta, green vegetables, starchy vegetables, and beans. Most of these foods also contain a number of other essential vitamins and minerals that will help you maintain good health. Now that we've covered the foundational nutrition guidelines to building muscle, in the next part, we will briefly look at some of the more famous muscle-building diets and see whether they are right for you. Chapter 4. Which popular muscle-building diet is right for me? With so many muscle-building diets to choose from, it may be hard to decide which one is right for you. Whatever you decide to do, maintaining a good balance of macronutrients is the key to promoting general health, fat loss, and muscle building. We've gathered a few of the most popular muscle-building diets that can help you reach your goals. Here are some of the most popular muscle-building diets. 80-10-10 diet. This diet focuses more on how the food is processed in your body more than what they are, so you can easily follow this while still getting the right balance of macronutrients. Whole foods are those that are not processed. Essentially, if you look at the ingredients list and there's only one thing on it, it's a whole food. If it's got a bunch of things you can't pronounce, it's processed and potentially dangerous. For this diet plan, you need to have 80% of your daily food coming from whole foods you enjoy, 10% of your daily food coming from whole foods you haven't tried or don't particularly enjoy, 10% of your daily food coming from whatever you want. Split meals diet. This diet is simple and it involves splitting up your meals throughout the day. The idea is that it helps keep your body fueled and energized throughout the day. It can also help keep you feeling full, so you don't run the risk of overeating during your mealtimes, which can lead to fat gain. For this diet, simply split your normal meals into 5 to 6 meals throughout the day, plus a couple of snacks. Intermittent fasting diet. There are a number of health benefits to intermittent fasting, which is why many people are starting to participate in it. While there are different schedules you can use, the most common is the 16-8 plan, in which you fast for 16 hours a day, typically from 9 p.m. to 1 p.m. the following day, and eat normally for 8 hours a day, from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. Whatever diet seems right for you, I cannot stress the importance of finding the one that suits your lifestyle best. If you struggle finding the time to eat several times a day, then maybe look at the intermittent fasting. Above all else, when deciding which diet is best, is consistency. Being consistent is what will get you results when on a muscle-building diet. In the next part, we'll move on to training and exercises for muscle building. Onward we go! Chapter 5. Best type of training for muscle building. There are two basic types of training when it comes to muscle building: total body training and split training. Total body training uses exercises that incorporate the whole body or else multiple muscle groups, while split training involves focusing on just one muscle group at a time so that you cover your entire body over the course of a week. Although there are certainly advantages to total body training, most bodybuilding professionals and experts agree that split training is the best way to build muscle over the long term. This is because split training allows you to focus intensely on each muscle and muscle group so you can maximize the results of each workout. It also gives each muscle group more time to recover, which can limit soreness. One of the most important things to remember when doing split training is that you need to make it part of a daily or nearly daily routine so that you can cover every muscle group by the end of the week. You'll also need to make sure you have your days divided in such a way that you have 2 to 3 days in between exercising each muscle group. So that's a brief overview of the types of training most people use to build muscle and increase strength. In the next part, we will uncover a muscle building schedule with the best exercises to perform. Chapter 6. Sample training schedule and exercises. When creating your personal training schedule, it's important to keep in mind your personal schedule so you can take rest days when you need them. With this schedule, it's flexible enough that you can take the 2 rest days literally any day throughout the week, and you can cover the various muscle groups in any order you want. If there is an area that you're focusing on, then it's best to schedule it after a rest day. That way you will have the most energy to be able to tackle that particular area. It's also important to note that the smallest muscle groups that recover quickly, abs and calves, are not given days, but can be tacked onto several workouts throughout the week. Here is a sample training schedule along with several exercises you can do for each day. If unsure of the exercises, I suggest searching them on YouTube and you will quickly see how the exercise is performed, learn exact technique and proper form. Day 1. Arms. On this day, you'll be focusing on your biceps and triceps. Your bicep and tricep muscles are responsible for allowing you to lift things and are often what many people focus on when muscle building. This is because your arms are typically the most visible part of your body, so it's the first part of you that people will notice after you've been doing plenty of muscle building. Best bicep exercises: barbell curl, standing biceps cable curl, inclined dumbbell curl, concentration curl, reverse grip bent over row. Best tricep exercises: upright dip, bench dip, close grip bench press, triceps push down, dumbbell overhead tricep press. Day 2. Legs. This day focuses primarily on the quadriceps and hamstrings, and would be a good day to add in calf muscle exercises to cover the entire leg. While many people tend to avoid these difficult exercises, it's important to make sure you're exercising your legs as much as the rest of your body, so you have an overall great look rather than looking like Buzz Lightyear. Best leg exercises: barbell back squat, barbell front squat, hack squat sled, seated leg press, barbell lung. Best calf exercises: seated calf raise, donkey calf raise, leg press machine toe press, standing calf raise, standing reverse calf raise. Day 3. Shoulders. On this day, you'll focus on building up your shoulder muscles as well as your upper trapezius muscles, which are along your upper back and neck area. These are another important area, so make sure that you have an overall great look after muscle building. If you don't do plenty of shoulder and trap exercises, then your bulky arms will look out of place. Best shoulder exercises: seated military press, standing military press, dumbbell front raise, dumbbell real lateral raise, dumbbell side lateral raise. Best trapezius exercises: leverage shrug, Smith machine shrug, dumbbell shrug, barbell shrug, kettlebell sumo high pull. Day 4. Chest. This day is all about building up those chest muscles, and it's also a great day to throw in some extra ab muscle workouts. Chest exercises will sculpt your chest muscles and will help you really round out your muscular look, especially when you're getting plenty of abdominal workouts in as well. Women too should make sure they're doing chest exercises. Best chest exercises: flat bench dumbbell press, barbell bench press, low incline barbell bench press, seated machine chest press, incline bench cable fly. Best abdominal exercises: machine crunch, hanging leg raise, kneeling cable crunch, knee raise, plank. Day 5. Back. On this day, you'll work out your back muscles, which can help improve your posture. Having strong back muscles may also help to relieve back pain, but it's important to make sure you're balancing them out with abdominal exercises, since these two groups work together to support your whole upper body. And of course, back exercises will help you look great by sculpting your back. Best back exercises: bent over barbell deadlift, barbell deadlift, standing T-bar row, wide grip pull-up, close grip pull-down. Days 6 and 7, rest. Taking these 2 days out of your week to rest are vital for your success, as they give your body time to recover and build up your muscle. If you're worried about losing momentum or falling out of the habit of exercising by taking days off, you can schedule in some light or medium intensity cardio during those days, which won't strain your muscles. In the next part, we will delve deeper into rest and recovery, which is one of the most important parts of a successful muscle building program. Chapter 7. Rest and Recovery. Rest and recovery are as necessary for muscle building as exercise. This is because of the way muscle building actually works. During exercise, muscles are strained and tiny tears occur in the muscle fibers. Then, while you're resting, your body fixes the tears and builds the muscle up more than before in order to ensure they can handle the strain that you put on them. Because rest and recovery are so important, there is a right and wrong way to do it. If you're not focusing on recovery and just doing nothing but exercising for muscle building, then there's a good chance that you're not going to see the results that you want. Recovery starts the moment you finish your final set and ends the next time you start exercising. Here's what you need to do to recover immediately following an exercise routine. Cool down. As soon as you finish your last set, you need to cool your muscles down. After all, they've been worked hard and will need some encouragement to get back to their normal state. Just as you should have warmed up your muscles before you started with some light exercise, it's important to cool down with some light exercise as well. Simply walking for a little while and moving the muscles you exercised should be enough to help your muscles relax and begin the recovery process. This light cardio will also get blood flowing through your body, which should help with the removal of toxins that are released during exercise. Most of the time, you'll only need a 5 to 10 minute cool down after strength training. Stretch. Stretching does a lot more than make you more flexible. It's actually a vital part of recovery for muscle building exercises. Most of the time, you should expect to commit to stretching for at least half the amount of time you were exercising for. This is because you will need to stretch every muscle that you use for at least 1 minute. When you do strength training, your muscle gets contracted repeatedly. If you return to your business without stretching it out, it will get cramped up and have a hard time returning to normal. By stretching it out, it gives the muscle fibers time to return to their normal length. This prevents a lot of the soreness that comes following a workout. Eat protein. While you should be getting plenty of carbs before your workout, you'll want to make sure you start eating protein with half an hour of your workout. This helps your muscle to start rebuilding themselves. You may also need to include some carbs with your post-workout snack to replenish your supply, but be careful not to overdo it and wind up taking in more calories than necessary. Get potassium and calcium. Both potassium and calcium are important for the rebuilding process of muscles, so you'll want to make sure that you're getting plenty of both. While you could certainly take a supplement, it's easier, cheaper, and better for you to simply eat a banana shortly after workout. If you're getting your post-workout protein in shake form, be sure to toss in a banana or two. Drink water. Although you should already be getting plenty of water throughout the day to keep yourself hydrated and healthy, it's especially important to drink water following a workout. The primary reason for this is that your body needs water to rebuild muscle. Equally important is the fact that water helps remove toxins from your body, which you created during workout. Here's what you need to be doing throughout the rest of the day to recover. Sleep 7 to 9 hours every night. Your body does the most recovery and repairs of cells while you are asleep, so it should be no surprise that you need to get plenty of good quality sleep if you want to get the most out of your muscle building routines. While some people can get away with 7 hours every night, some athletes and those who are naturally more active will require 9 hours every night. Find what works for you. More important than just the number of hours you get is the quality of sleep. Even if you're getting in the right number of hours, if you're getting poor sleep, then you'll still wake up feeling exhausted and your body won't recover. Take steps like turning off all electronics at least an hour before bed and avoiding all caffeine after noon so that you can get a great night of sleep. Eat right. We've gone over it in details before, but it's so important that we're going to mention it here again. You need to make sure you're getting the right balance of micronutrients and sourcing them from whole foods every day. Keep in mind that not every meal should be perfectly balanced, since you'll likely need more carbs in the morning to get you going and then more protein in the evening to wind you down. Reduce stress. The physical stress that you put on your body during exercise is what allows you to build muscle. However, if you have a chronic stress from your work or personal life, then this can do some serious damage to your body. When you throw intense strength workouts on top of an already exhausted body, it greatly increases your risk that disease or injury will occur. Now that we've learned how to eat, train, and recover, it's time to talk about some of the more common beginner mistakes and how you can avoid them like a pro, ensuring you make the goals we set earlier in this guide. Chapter 8: Beginner Mistakes to Avoid. There are so many mistakes that beginners make when they start bodybuilding, and there are some very good reasons to avoid them. The obvious one is that some of these could cause you to injure yourself, which is something you will certainly want to avoid. Another big danger, however, is that you will learn bad habits in the beginning, which will keep you from reaching your goals. Here are several beginner mistakes to avoid when you begin muscle building. Pushing yourself too hard. The idea of no pain, no gain is a false one, and the sooner you get it out of your head, the better off you'll be. People that push themselves until they hurt themselves will find that pain is just pain, and if you push yourself to the point of injury, and then you end up losing out on valuable training time as you wait for the muscle to recover. If your muscle hurts for days following a workout, you went too far. You only need to push yourself slightly beyond your limit until you activate your muscle fibers. Pushing yourself beyond this could cause tearing and muscle damage, which then takes a long time to repair. For some people, getting injured early in their muscle building journey can turn them off from it permanently. Not having a schedule. One of the most important things you can do for yourself is to create a schedule that you can stick with. It will help you know exactly when you're doing what. It can also keep you from making excuses about not having the time to work out. Making a schedule is a process with several steps that you should follow if you want the best chance at avoiding this beginner mistake. Step 1. Set a time. The most important part of making a schedule for your workouts is to set a time. You need to pick a time that you know you'll be able to work out for the length of time that you need to. The ideal time will be different for every person, so there's no right or wrong time to work out. What matters is that it's set in stone and you don't skip it. Step 2. Plan your routine. You can follow our samples routine that's outlined previously, find somebody else's muscle building schedule to follow, or create your own after doing some research. Be sure that you're not exercising the same muscles too close together and that you're taking at least one full day off from muscle building to rest and recover between workout days. Step 3. Write it in your calendar. Whatever that means, scribble it in purple marker on your dry erase board or setting an alarm in your phone labeled exercise time. You need to make sure your workout schedule is somewhere that you will see it. As we'll discuss in more details later, you need to prioritize muscle building, so be sure you've got it written down so you'll always be reminded of your commitment. Imbalance. The two things that come together to allow you to build muscle are workout routines and diet. If you focus on one but neglect the other, your body will suffer from it. You need to make sure that you're doing both if you really want to get results. You need to be taking the time to exercise, to work your muscles, and making sure you're eating good, healthy, muscle-building diet. Bad form. If you want to waste a lot of time to slowly damage yourself and not gain an ounce of muscle, then have bad form. Good form is important to avoid injury, particularly on the joints, and for helping you actually gain muscle. This is where having professional, personalized help comes in handy. A personal trainer will be able to ensure that you will have perfect form. Skipping days. The most common day that people tend to skip is leg day. There's a variety of reasons for it, but the results are the same. You look amazingly muscular from the waist up only, and it makes you look incredibly strange. Never skip a day in your routine. If something does comes up and you absolutely can't work out on a certain day, modify your schedule for that week to make sure you get it in. Going it alone. If you want professional muscle building results, that means you need professional muscle building help. Rather than picking your own exercises and wasting time trying to figure everything out on your own, you need to either follow a professional program or, better yet, hire a professional trainer. Either way, you'll be starting off on the right foot and saving yourself tons of trouble and injury. For those who absolutely can't afford a professional trainer, try to get an experienced muscle builder to help you out. Even if someone isn't a certified trainer, if they have been working out for a number of years, then they can probably provide the help you need to get started and make sure you're using proper form and following a good training regimen. Now that we've covered some of the most common bending problems and how you can avoid them, it's time to look to the future, more specifically smartphone apps and technology to further enhance your muscle building efforts. Chapter 9: Apps and Technology to Enhance Muscle Building. In today's world, there are a number of ways that technology can help enhance your muscle building. So if you want to get the absolute most out of every day, you can do so by adding some of these pieces of technology to your life. The best part is that most of them are cheap or even free, so you don't have to spend a lot to enhance your muscle building. Here are a few different apps that can help you with muscle building. Apps for workouts. There is a plethora of apps out there that offer workout solutions, but not all of them are created equal. When looking for a good workout app, you want to find one that is made specifically for muscle building and that will help you get more out of your workouts. Two of the best apps for muscle building are You Are Your Own Gym and Fitness Buddy. You Are Your Own Gym. You Are Your Own Gym is great for muscle building on the go. It provides a number of bodyweight-only exercises so you can literally work out anywhere, making it great for busy people that only have time to squeeze in a few exercises throughout the day. Although it will cost you a couple of bucks, it comes with over 200 video demonstrations of exercises so you can quickly learn proper form. Fitness Buddy. Fitness Buddy is similar but focuses on providing you with lists of exercises for different muscle groups. That makes it great for someone that's looking for an easy way to try new exercises. It's also inexpensive and will allow you to have instant access to hundreds of exercises to choose from, so that you'll never be without an idea of what to do during your workout session. App for Nutrition. Since proper diet is the other part of muscle building, you can get even more out of it by getting a nutrition app which will help you track what you eat. Be sure to get one that will help you maintain the proper balance between the macronutrients so that you know you're exactly getting what you need every day. One of the best apps for this is MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal is a completely free app that gives you everything you need to create and stick to your ideal diet. There are a few things that this app does that will help you reach your goals. It not only tracks all the macronutrients for you so you can see exactly how much of each you're getting every day, but it also allows you to scan labels and has a database of recipes to choose from. App for Tracking Fitness. Keeping track of how far you've come and how much farther you need to go can be difficult, but the right app can make it easy. Jetfi is an app that allows you to enter your goals and track your fitness. You can see exactly how many sets and reps you need to do and how much weight you need to add if you want to reach your next goal, keeping things simple and easy. Here are a few tools that can help you with muscle building. Globe Grips. These baseball-sized grips are made to go on any size and type of weightlifting apparatus. They not only help you improve the strength of your grip, but they can also customize your workout. If you're experiencing shoulder pain while doing presses, this will allow you to have a neutral grip that should solve that problem. Weighted Jump Rope. Jumping rope itself is a great addition to your muscle building workout because it allows you to get a great calf workout while providing some blood pumping cardio and some shoulder and arm workout. If you want to get an even better muscle building workout in, then you'll want to get a weighted jump rope set, like the one offered by CrossRope. In the same way that you increase the weight during your other muscle building exercises, you should be doing the same for jump roping. Fortunately, CrossRope makes it easy as they offer sets of ropes that you can get in various weights. This allows you to start with a lighter rope so you can work on your technique and then move up to heavier ropes as needed. Foam rollers. There are a number of different types of foam rollers on the market, but they all have the same purpose: to help you recover after an intense workout session. Foam rollers are used by a number of athletes to help alleviate muscle soreness and to increase range of motion in joints. Getting a pair of these and learning how to use them could help you immensely during recovery. Conclusion: making muscle building a lifestyle. Congratulations on making it to the end of this short introductory guide to building muscle and increasing strength. You may be surprised to know that the majority of people who start something never complete it. Take your time and progress at your own pace. This is not a race. The more you understand and comprehend what is happening when you undertake a muscle building course, the better. If you really want to succeed, then everything you do for your body must be with long-term planning in mind. These changes you are making and the training and diet you are following are not meant to be temporary. They are meant to be part of a new lifestyle that you will follow in order to build muscle, increase strength, and help keep you healthy. If you are not focused on your muscle building goals, then you are going to have a hard time reaching them. For that reason, you need to make muscle building a lifestyle. As previously mentioned, you can't think of muscle building simply as something that you add into your day. It must instead be something that your life is about. One of the ways to make muscle building a lifestyle is to make it a priority. Think of your job. You probably wouldn't skip work just because you don't feel like going in, and you wouldn't cancel meetings with clients simply because you were feeling tired. If you make muscle building an even bigger priority than your work meetings, it will be easy to fit it into your schedule. The other way you make muscle building a lifestyle is in the foods you choose. A true muscle builder is conscious of everything they put into their body. They consider food something that works with your body to build muscle, not simply something that tastes delicious. Recognizing that what food does in your body is more important than how it tastes can help you make better food choices. By putting the two together, exercise and eating, you can set yourself up for success when it comes to muscle building. Rather than just being someone that does occasional exercise, you'll be a muscle builder, and before you know it, your body will begin to reflect all the hard work you're putting in as you develop the muscles that you have always dreamed of having. This has been Muscle Building 101, a beginner's guide to building muscle and increasing strength.
Introduction. We live in a very stressful world. You probably don't need me to remind you of that fact. Why are we so stressed out? Why do we feel so much pressure? Why does it seem like contentment and peace are so hard to find? Well, for most people, they simply just have too many duties, responsibilities, distractions, and routines taking up their time and attention. If you were to slice and dice and dissect your daily schedule, you probably would fit into this category as well. There's just so much that you have to cram into your mind every single day. It is no surprise that a lot of people develop the following symptoms of stress. They have short attention spans. When they read stuff online, they can barely pay attention until another item shows up on their Facebook timeline, and they forgot about the stuff that they were reading before. They don't really read materials, they just scan. That's how short most people's attention span is. Next, stressed out people overreact emotionally. It seems like everything that you perceive or become aware of is some sort of judgment or is somehow, some way related to you. You personalize everything. Everything's personal. And it's no surprise that you tend to react emotionally. This may be due to the fact that you're stressed out. You may be reading too much into things. But unfortunately, once we open our mouths, we end up hurting people. We end up making decisions that we come to regret later on. Another symptom of too much stress is simply a lack of patience. You don't feel like you want to stick around for anything. This is a very serious problem because it can lead to road rage if you're stuck in traffic. This can lead to violent disagreements with friends and family members. You might hurt your relationships because you simply have grown impatient in dealing with people. People are people. It often takes time for people to get their act together. Finally, you get this generalized sense of anxiety and frustration. You can't quite put your finger on it, but you feel that something is missing in your life. You feel that something is just not right. Not surprisingly, it's very hard for you to find peace and contentment. It seems that at any given second, something wrong might happen. It may lead to you losing money, or it may lead to you suffering from some sort of illness. Whatever the case may be, something's off. Something's not right. Rarely do you feel that if your world is perfect. It is no surprise that, given these symptoms, the Western world suffers from several systemic dysfunctions. In the Western world, there are high divorce rates. Too many people quickly conclude that their marriage is simply not worth saving. So this blows up the divorce rate. People are just not that patient with their relationships. Another symptom involves the high levels of drug use. This is particularly deadly in the United States because of the current opioid epidemic gripping that country. Some people have always self-medicated to deal with stress and anxiety. Maybe they smoke weed. Maybe they do cocaine. Maybe they shoot up heroin. Whatever the case may be, it numbs or suspends the pain for at least a period of time until they have to go back to the real world. Finally, the Western world, as well as Japan, has always suffered from high suicide rates. This is another reflection of the prolonged systemic dysfunction produced by depression, stress, and anxiety. If you need proof of this, just look at the top prescribed medications in any given year in the United States and many parts of the developed world. What do you see at the top? Antidepressants or anti-anxiety medications. This is guaranteed. In the top 10 of prescribed medications, you will always see those too. Something's got to give. Unfortunately, most of the time, it is you. Thankfully, there is a better way to handle your mental resources. You don't have to stress out. You don't have to freak out. You don't have to be emotionally on edge every single time. You don't feel like something wrong is going on or something's about to get knocked loose. The best thing about this better way of handling your mental resources is that it is 100% drug-free. That's right, no chemicals are involved. This method is also 100% natural. You deal with your mind as it exists. You don't have to buy a machine. You don't have to take drugs. You don't have to ingest anything foreign into your body. It is 100% natural. It works with how your mind works. It is also 100% conscious. You're not going to hypnotize yourself. You're not going to be under the mental control of another person. Finally, this system enables you to remain in 100% control of your mind. You call the shots. You pick the method, and you work with it. It works on your schedule, on your terms, and based on your needs. Sound awesome? Wouldn't you like to try this better way? Are you sick and tired of the regular ways you deal with stress, anxiety, and the daily strains of modern living? Well, here's the answer. Meditation. This training teaches you the ins and outs of practical meditation so you can come up with a solution that works best for you. Common myths about meditation that might be turning you off. Near the end of the introduction to this training, you might be a little bit skeptical. You probably have heard of meditation before. However, you might not have been excited at first. I really can't blame you because a lot of people have certain preconceptions regarding meditation. A lot of these are really myths that serve to turn people off from this amazing practice that can free them from daily stress and pressure. Part of the reason for this is because of the religious or spiritual baggage of meditation. After all, meditation was pioneered in the East in the specific context of Buddhism and Hinduism. This cuts against the grain with most people from the West. Most Westerners are secular. It's no surprise that a lot of people are turned off by the spiritual or mystical reputation of meditation. But this is not the reality of meditation. Here are 8 myths that might be holding you back about meditation. Learn to recognize these and hear the truth about meditation so you can make a real informed choice. Myth number 1. You have to be religious for meditation to work. According to this myth, you have to be a Buddhist or a Hindu for meditation to work for you. Absolutely wrong. Meditation works with how your mind naturally processes stimuli. It doesn't need religion. It doesn't need spirituality. You just need to tune in to how your mind is already working. Myth number 2. You have to believe for meditation to produce benefits. You don't have to believe in anything. You just have to go through the steps of meditation because meditation works with how your mind works. It's kind of like redecorating a room with existing furniture. The furniture is already there. You just need to rearrange the furniture so it produces better effects. You're not imagining stuff for the process to work. You're not forcing yourself to change what you believe in for meditation to produce results. Myth number 3. You are fully unconscious when meditating. This is an absolute lie. A lot of people are under the impression that meditation is really like some variation of sleep and you're hypnotizing yourself or entering some sort of altered reality. No, this is not true. Real, practical meditation is actually the precise opposite. You remain fully conscious. However, you train your consciousness to purify its focus. It leads to a very empowering feeling because you start becoming more mentally disciplined. This is the complete opposite of just simply being unconscious. Myth number 4. You will fall under the influence of others easily when meditating. When you meditate, you are calling the shots because your focus is super filtered. It is super fine. Only you can do this. Nobody outside of you can guide you to achieve this level of clarity and focus. You have to do this yourself. Accordingly, you won't fall under the influence of others when meditating unless, of course, you want to. You always have that choice. But practically speaking, you are calling the shots. Myth number 5. Meditation is another form of hypnosis. Hypnosis works when somebody outside of you guides you to achieve an altered state of reality. They basically change how you look at things. Maybe a hypnotist will make you change your mind about smoking or some form of addictive behavior. Meditation is very different from hypnosis because you're not gaining instructions. Instead, you are clearing away your mind to focus on how your mind works in a given moment. You're not taking in stuff. You're actually clearing stuff away. So there's nothing to get hypnotized about. What you have is pure focus. Myth number 6. It takes a lot of effort to meditate properly. Your mind is actually very powerful. To use machinery analogy, your mind already has gears that turn, and these are very powerful gears. You have to understand that you navigate reality with your mind. It's how your body exists in reality. You perceive reality through your mind. When you meditate, you tap into that machinery and you purify it. In other words, the energy is already there. You don't have to exert new effort. Instead, again, to use the analogy of the room with furniture, you're just rearranging the furniture to produce a different effect. Myth number 7. You have to meditate for a long time for it to benefit you. Meditation, to a lot of people, is a lot of work. They think that there are many levels to it. Well, people who think that way are being confused by the traditional religion or spirituality that surrounded meditation because Buddhists think in levels. Hindus too, to a certain degree. Raw, practical, basic meditation can produce results for you right here, right now. Since your goal is not to attain some sort of mystical enlightenment, but to just live in the present moment and focus your mental energies, the benefit is almost immediate if you do it right. Myth number 8. People who meditate are gullible. This really is a slam against people who are looking for natural and self-controlled ways to deal with stress. This is an insult. The truth is, even if you are the most skeptical person in the world and you really have a tough time believing anything, if you just focus on the mental processes that you are already engaged in and direct it to a more natural alignment, you don't need to be persuaded of anything. It just works on its own. All of the 8 myths above will trip you up. Learn how to spot them in terms of your belief system. Let me tell you, what I'm going to teach you about meditation will not benefit you in the least if you hang on to any of these myths. Get out from under them and start enjoying the benefits you've been looking for. You need to start with as clean of a slate as you can. So make sure you go through your personal, mental, and attitude laundry list and clear out any of the myths above or anything related or similar enough to these myths. Otherwise, meditation may not work out for you. Meditation in a nutshell. What is meditation? We've already established in video 1 that it is not some sort of metaphysical, spiritual, or mystical state that you enter. It's definitely not some sort of attempt to achieve some sort of alternate reality or navigate some sort of spiritual truth. Instead, meditation works with how your mind already operates. The bottom line is, if your mind did not have a self-correcting system to achieve some sort of balance or some sort of inner peace at some level or another, you would have gone crazy a long time ago. That is the bottom line. Meditation really all boils down to getting in touch with that and becoming more aware of that machinery so you can call it into action when you need it and on your own terms. Your mind is a very powerful biochemical machine. It has all sorts of gears and processes and systems. Meditation just simply taps into this amazing interconnected network of internal systems that manage your personal reality to make the system work for you instead of against you. The cloud analogy. To get an understanding of how these systems work, I need you to imagine that you are looking at the world from 500,000 feet. At that distance, the world is a globe. You can see the clouds at the surface, and you can see some storms. And when you sink deeper, let's say to 200,000 feet, you can see the storms up close. You can see the lightning. You can see the movement of the air. You can even see the surface of the waters. You can see the heat of the deserts. There's a lot of commotion. There's a lot of stress. But when you sink another 200,000 feet, you can see everything up close and personal. There's a lot of turbulence. Then you sink another 500 feet into the ocean. It starts getting calmer. You can still see some patterns from the surface, or if you dig into the earth, you can see some mild disturbance. But when you get to the core of the earth, it's surprisingly stable. In fact, it's a molten core. It rarely moves. It's just liquid because of all the heat and pressure from the surface. But it is very, very stable in the center of the earth. Your mind is the same. When you drill down enough, things get calmer and calmer, despite how traumatic, turbulent, and stressful the surface areas of your mind become. When you get to the core, you can take a lot of comfort from the fact that it will always remain calm. It has to be this way because, as I said earlier, If humanity did not develop in such a way that our minds have some sort of self-correcting system that's always stable, we would have died as a species a long, long time ago. Meditation is all about getting to your core. Practical meditation is all about getting to that inner core. It's all about getting to that part of your mind that is always at peace. It has these mechanisms that ensure that you keep going back to this sense of peace. Believe it or not, really stressed out people who are going through a living hell as far as their emotions, their relationships, their career, their finances, and everything else in their life, actually have a calm inner core. Unfortunately, that's just buried in all the stuff that's taking up all their mental energy. But it's not going to go away. It's always there. You are programmed by biology to have a calm inner core. Otherwise, you would have gone crazy a long time ago. The bottom line is simple. Meditation is all about living in the moment. That is where we reconnect with our calm inner core. Here's the twist though. Meditation is an art, not a science. If meditation was a science, like some sort of equation that you just plug in variables into and you will get the same predictable result, then we wouldn't be here. But unfortunately, it is personal in nature because you have to go through the process of making choices to clear up your mind so you can lock in on the present moment. That's how you reconnect with your deep, abiding inner core of calm and serenity. Now, with that said, although meditation is an art and not a science, it's been scientifically studied thoroughly. In fact, there are at least 200 peer-reviewed, hardcore scientific studies of meditation. A lot of this was done in the 1970s. Meditation has a lot of scientific benefits. I will go into that in the next video. But don't think that what I'm going to be teaching you is some sort of an experimental or completely new method. No, its effects have been known for quite some time. In fact, in many parts of the world, it's been practiced for at least 1,000 years. The top 10 benefits of meditation. If you're going through this training, chances are you already want to try your hand at meditation. There's a high probability that you probably already know some, if not all, of the 10 major benefits of meditation. Just to be sure, if you're still in any way, shape, or form on the fence regarding this practical and all-natural way to relax, here are just the 10 major benefits of meditation. Please note that the actual list of meditation's benefits is quite long. These are just the most commonly reported benefits. Benefit number 1, it slows down your mind. Part of the reason why people are so stressed out is because they have 1,000 things on their mind. They're just so focused on so many things at the same time that they spread themselves too thin. They're not very patient. They don't have much focus. And it's very easy for them to drop the ball. It's very easy for them to spend day after day thinking that they really haven't done much with their time or the opportunities presented to them. By learning how to meditate on a practical basis, you slow down your mind. You're able to focus and appreciate one thing at a time. This is not a step back. In fact, this is a great way of reclaiming your ability to focus and control the many different areas of your life. Benefit number 2, it relaxes your mind. Focus is one thing, relaxation is another. Please understand that these are two totally different things. You can be focused on something that really stresses you out and take care of the problem. However, once the issue is done, you may still be tightly wound up. You may still be stressed. Meditation enables you to completely relax your mind. It is a great way of not only taking off stress, but also relaxing your mind. You get inner peace. You get serenity. Benefit number 3, it relaxes your body. There's a tight connection between your body and your mind. The less stressed your mind becomes, the more relaxed your body gets. These two are strongly tied to each other. By working on your mind, you go a long way in relaxing physically. Benefit number 4, you gain perspective. Part of the reason why people are so stressed is because they think that they're jumping from one emergency to another. They are literally caught in the end of the world every single crisis. It's as if they're putting out one fire after another. Well, it turns out that most, if not all, of the things that you're stressed about are nothing to stress out over. In the big scheme of things, they are really small potatoes. When you adopt a daily or consistent meditation practice, you get to see the big picture. Gaining perspective enables you to achieve some level of inner peace. Benefit number 5, you create distance between your emotions and your perception. One of the most common symptoms of stress is when everything seems to revolve around who you are, your personal value, and your goals in life. In other words, every small disappointment becomes a giant failure. When you don't agree with somebody else, instead of leaving it at a fairly shallow level, the disagreement becomes really personal. You really have a tough time letting go of your emotions. Well, when you learn how to meditate, you create distance between your emotions and perceptions. Just because you perceive certain things, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to interpret things in a very emotionally negative way. The more you meditate, the calmer you feel. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. It doesn't have to be all about you. Life doesn't have to involve a tremendous amount of unnecessary drama. Benefit number 6, your focus increases in power. Where your focus goes, energy flows. Unfortunately, if you're stressed out, it's very easy for you to try to focus, but there's really not much power left. You can't muster the willpower needed to get stuff done, regardless of how much you think you've set your mind to something. At some level or another, something is tapping your energy. It's just leaking out of you, and you really can't, for the life of you, focus like a laser. When you learn how to meditate and control your mental processes, your focus grows in strength. You are able to target specific tasks with your willpower. When you do this, you become a more effective and productive person. Benefit number 7, your focus increases in clarity. Just as focus involves willpower, focus also involves clarity. Things start to make sense. Things fall into place. Unfortunately, if you're under a lot of pressure, it's easy to suffer from brain fog. Everything looks the same, everything is fuzzy, and it's hard for you to tell which is which. You don't even know what your priority should be or not. It is no surprise that regardless of how much focus stressed out people try to put on certain tasks, they can't get anything done. It's as if they try to impose their willpower to do certain things, but it turns out that they're doing the wrong things at the wrong time to produce the wrong results. They end up chasing their tails. When you meditate, your focus not only grows in strength, but it also grows in clarity. You start using your values as your filter as to what to focus on. This can have a tremendously positive result on your productivity as well as your sense that you are able to make things happen in your life. Benefit number 8, it lowers your blood pressure. In research study after research study, scientists have discovered that consistent meditative practice actually lowers blood pressure. This is a big deal because there is a cardiovascular disease epidemic in the United States and other developed nations. As people live more and more sedentary lives, heart-related issues are killing more and more people. If you meditate, you tend to naturally lower your blood pressure, and this can possibly prolong your life. Benefit number 9, it can speed up emotional healing. If you have a tough time forgiving people, by learning how to meditate, you can gain emotional distance from painful or anger-induced memories. Sooner or later, you are able to see things in perspective, and this puts you in a position to forgive. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that if you meditate, you will automatically forgive people who you feel have done you harm. That will still be your choice. However, when you meditate, you start viewing things in perspective, and it's more likely that, if you want to, you can forgive and move on. This can go a long way in helping you heal emotionally. Benefit number 10, can bolster psychological repair. I wish I could tell you that all of us came from ideal childhoods. I wish I could tell you that we all had great pasts, and that we've always hung out with great people and we've always had amazing times. It would be awesome if we all came from nurturing, loving relationships and families. Unfortunately, that's not true. There are a lot of us who have suffered psychological wounds and are having a tough time recovering. When you meditate, you tend to gain perspective. This enables you to put yourself in the position to start looking at the past as well as the present consequences of your past with a fresh set of eyes. If you feel that you've been victimized, if you feel that you've been harmed in the past, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to continue looking at yourself the same way. Again, just like with speeding up emotional healing, meditation only puts you in this position. You still have to choose this benefit. This doesn't happen automatically. Keep the 10 benefits above in mind if you're still hesitating or feeling apprehensive about meditation. While it is a commitment, please keep in mind that in most cases, its advantages definitely outweigh whatever real or imagined disadvantages people may see with a meditation practice. Practical versus esoteric meditation. In the first video of this training, I outlined the common myths that tend to hold people back from adopting a personal meditation practice. It really all boils down to a sense that meditation is somehow, some way religious, mystical, or some sort of superstitious practice. We live in a very secular time. We'd like to believe that we are guided by reason and science. Given this context, it is entirely understandable why people have second thoughts about meditation. A lot of this really flows from the dichotomy between practical and esoteric meditation. Esoteric meditation is really the historic practice of meditation. In this context, meditation is practiced in connection with some sort of higher religious goal or some sort of mystical objective. If anything, meditation is not the centerpiece. Rather, it's just a side practice to what should be the primary goal, which is to attain some sort of enlightenment or some sort of spiritual release. Esoteric meditation. Esoteric meditation is rooted in Eastern philosophy. The whole idea of Eastern philosophy is that life is suffering, or that there is such a thing as karma and eternal rebirths. The whole point of any kind of spiritual exercise is to gain a perspective that enables people to break out of this eternal series of birth, suffering, death, and rebirth. Meditation has historically been associated with this thinking because meditation is one practice that enables people to start seeing life from a completely different perspective. This would enable them to think, talk, and behave differently enough for them to break the pattern of karma or the attachment that keeps them trapped in that mystical circle of birth and rebirth. As you can tell, this involves a tremendous amount of religious and spiritual concepts. There is chanting. People who practice meditation in this context say Om, Om, or they use some sort of spiritual mantra. They also engage in yoga and other physical exercises that have spiritual connotations. Practical meditation. Practical meditation simply strips away all the esoteric, religious, spiritual, and mystical layers of meditation. Instead, it looks at the meditative practice based on the core mental processes that enable people to self-repair to such an extent that they do not go crazy. In other words, instead of dwelling on the surface differences, practical meditation goes to the structural components of the meditative act itself and strips away anything that is unnecessary. It also focuses on one non-religious, non-spiritual, or non-mystical goal, which is to achieve focus in the present moment. We're not even talking about peace. We're not even talking about some sort of inner serenity, harmony, and what have you. Although those emotional states and experiences can and do happen, practical and fully secular meditation is all about achieving some sense of mental clarity in the here and now. There's no past to worry about and no future to obsess over. The bottom line with practical meditation basically strips away all that is extra or historic and cultural about meditation. It goes to the basics. The basics really boils down to learning how to focus on the present moment. Nothing before, nothing after. It's all about right here, right now. Using that, we get a tremendous amount of benefits, as outlined in video 3. The SEAL Quick Stress Relief. Starting with this video, I'm going to lay out the different purely secular methods of achieving a meditative state. Now, a lot of people might argue whether these methods are classical meditative techniques. But as I've mentioned in video 4, we really couldn't care less about whether it's traditional, classical, or what have you. Instead, our focus is to learn the basic practical, doable techniques that enable people to focus on the present moment. This is the key to relieving stress and removing unnecessary life pressures. The first method I'm going to teach you is the SEAL Quick Stress Relief Method. This method was pioneered for the U.S. Navy SEAL program. SEAL stands for Sea, Air, and Land Teams. These are highly trained, mission-critical military units run by the United States Navy. These are the seasoned military specialists that often see action first in any kind of armed conflict. In other words, you have to have your wits about you. Usually, they get sent in to clear out an area. They plant bombs. They do sabotage. They do all sorts of highly stressful military work. It follows that the U.S. Navy invested a tremendous amount of money to enable these military specialists to achieve instant or almost instant peace of mind right before they do a task. Also, if they're in the middle of a firefight or they are in the middle of a very sticky situation that can be fatal, they get the U.S. Navy invested in this training to help them calm down and remain focused on the task at hand. The SEAL method. The SEAL method is actually pretty straightforward. You breathe for a few seconds. It could be 4, it could be 10, as long as it's not too long for you to be uncomfortable. You breathe and then hold, and then you release, and then you hold. Basically, you breathe in, and then you hold it for however many seconds. You then release your breath, and then at the end of that stage, when all the air has left your lungs, you hold it for the same number of seconds when you were breathing. You repeat this about 3 to 8 times. Again, as long as it's comfortable. Guidelines. When you're doing this, you don't think. You know you're doing it wrong when you're thinking. Instead, you should just focus on what you're doing. Focus on the air coming in, focus on holding your breath, then focus on the air going out. If you keep repeating this with your focus solely on your breath and what your body is going through, the relaxation will come. Your mind starts to unclench. You're no longer worried about stuff at work. You're no longer worried about your relationship. You're no longer worried about your childhood. You're no longer obsessing about that person you can't forgive. None of that matters. Instead, you focus on the here and now. That's when the relaxation comes. Ideally, you should start with the SEAL method for quick stress relief. This is the easiest meditation method and it delivers the quickest results. Once you learn to de-stress using this technique, you should then go deeper by adopting the methods described in the following videos of this training. Counting your breath. With this method, you're just going to focus on your breath and nothing else. By doing this, you achieve a tremendous amount of relaxation. If you practice this long enough, you can achieve a very deep and abiding sense of inner peace. It's fairly straightforward. There are really no moving parts. It's not complicated at all. Preparations. First, you need to find the right spot. Generally speaking, you should do this in an area where you're not going to be disturbed. There should be no distractions in terms of what you can see, hear, smell, taste, touch. It should be a place that will only be available to you for around 10 to 15 minutes. It doesn't really take all that long, but you have to be in the right spot for a long enough period of time for this meditative technique to benefit you. Second, you're going to close your eyes. This is a technique that you cannot do with your eyes open. Remember, we're basically going to avoid any kind of distractions. These distractions can be seen, heard, smelled, tasted, and touched. No distractions. So you close your eyes and you just focus on one thing and one thing alone. Third, focus only on your breath. How are you going to focus on your breath? Well, you're not going to focus on it by feeling it or hearing it. Instead, you're going to watch it. In other words, you turn your mental camera to your breath. You imagine yourself seeing yourself breathe in and breathe out. The key here is to feel it with your body and see it in your mind's eye. Eventually, these two sensations will line up. So it diverts your attention from the stuff going through your mind as well as the stimuli that your body is picking up. Instead, everything is focused on your breath. Your conscious attention is focused solely on your breath. You breathe in slowly and you breathe out slowly. Everything is focused on the area of your body where the breath is coming in and going out. The key here is to not control your breath. The key is to not be self-conscious. Instead, you're just paying attention to this natural flow. When you feel that there's a strain in your lungs, you're doing it wrong. It means you're being self-conscious. It means that you're trying to force things. This should not be forced. It is actually effortless. You're just basically turning that mental camera that you have from obsessing about all these stresses or drama happening in your life to just focusing on your breath. That's all it will be focused on. And if you keep this up long enough, you will become very, very relaxed. It leads to a tremendous amount of inner peace. However, let me tell you, in the beginning, it's going to be quite difficult. You might even feel bored. You might even feel like you're wasting your time. It's because this is something new. Your mind is not used to thinking this way. After all, your mind has grown accustomed to thinking about 1,000 different things at once. It's used to using up a tremendous amount of energy. Now, you're using very little energy and you're focusing on only one thing. As you can imagine, that takes some getting used to. The good news is it's worth doing because the calm and relaxation that you get will be priceless. Present sense mindfulness. With this technique, you focus on what you see in front of you. In other words, you're going to be meditating or practicing mindfulness with eyes wide open. You're just working with your awareness. You're training your awareness on one thing and one thing alone. Steps to present sense mindfulness. The first step is to practice the breathing patterns that you learned in video 6. Focus on your breathing until you achieve a sense of relaxation. You do this with your eyes wide open. You can do this in a room with no other people, but there are objects in the room. You do this with your eyes open. Ideally, you shouldn't do this in any place where there are loud noises or music. Next, you're going to focus on an object in front of you. It can be a tree, a park bench. It can be a house. It doesn't really matter. What's important is that you put all your focus on that one item alone. The key is to look at that item. You're not out to enjoy it. You're not out to judge it. You're definitely not out to analyze it. Instead, you're just looking at it. The key here is to see clearly. You're going to basically be looking at all the details. It's not like you're searching for something. Instead, your job is just to take it all in. It is kind of like taking a very thorough, high-resolution snapshot of that item that you've chosen to look at. Next, once you have determined that you have seen all there is to see about the object, the next step is to pay attention to what that object would smell like, taste like, feel like in terms of texture, and what it would sound like. In other words, you sense it in 3 dimensions. You take it in with all your senses. This enables you to lose your focus on everything else. When you do this, your mind is being filled with the stimuli of that object and that object alone. You have no space left for stuff you have to worry about at the office. You have no mental resources left for that time when your best friend stabbed you in the back or did something that made you hold a grudge for a long time. All that stuff gets pushed out. Instead, You're just cramming all the sensory data that you are willfully taking in based on that object that you have chosen in front of you. This enables you to lose focus on everything else and focus on that thing in front of you. This enables you to reset how you normally focus on things in your life. The reason why you're so stressed out is because you're hanging on for dear life onto so many different things, and they layer on top of each other. And at the end of the day, all this willpower and this mental energy is just basically wasted because you're hanging on to so much stuff. When you practice this meditative technique, you push a reboot button for your mind and let go of all that stuff that you're clinging to. And instead, you just fill it with the stuff that you take in and that you flush out. Eventually, this leads to mental hygiene because you will develop the mental discipline to zero in on an issue or a set of data for however long it takes to produce. Let's say at work or in an argument or even dealing with a relationship, and then let go. Watch your emotions like clouds. Once you have done the previous meditative practices, the next step is to meditate in such a way that you let go of emotional attachments. Let's get one thing clear. Part of the reason why we're all so stressed out and anxious is because our memories are not emotionally neutral. When we perceive certain things, we tend to react a certain way because we have been trained by past experiences to respond that way. What if I told you that in many cases, we respond in a very unproductive and downright negative way? We could be responding in more neutral or more positive ways, and our lives could be more productive. Instead of wasting a tremendous amount of emotional and mental resources feeling negative, angry, frustrated, guilty, upset, you name it, we can focus more on feeling appreciated as well as content. It's all a choice. But unfortunately, if we hang on to these past memories and we judge them in a predictably negative way, we lose sight of the fact that we can always choose our judgments. We feel that our negative analysis is just who we are. It's part of our identity. It's part of our personality. Well, it isn't. It's always a choice. With this technique, you gain some freedom from the emotional roller coaster ride that you feel just takes you to negative territory like clockwork. Here's how it works. Step number 1, count your breath. Go back to the earlier video where I taught you how to count your breath. Watch your breath. Count it. Focus on your breath. At a certain point, you will relax. You can use the SEAL method, or you can use the more intensive breath counting and watching method I discussed earlier. Whatever the case may be, keep doing it until you sense relaxation. Step number 2, close your eyes. Once you feel that you have reached a certain level of relaxation, close your eyes. Everything should go black. Allow yourself to relax even deeper. Allow yourself to slow your thoughts down. Just focus on the calmness of the darkness. There's nothing to prove here. You don't have to be somebody that you're not. You have nobody to impress. This is just you and your thoughts. It's just calm, pure darkness. No light, no color, nothing to get worked up about. Step number 3, focus on your thoughts. Once you have relaxed, pretend that you are in some sort of movie theater and you're sitting back and you're seeing scenes. These are your thoughts. When you assume that perspective, you would realize that you're thinking a lot. If you're a normal person, a lot of mental images flash through your mind. In fact, we go through so many mental images, oftentimes we're not aware of them all. So sit back and just see your thoughts play out. Step number 4, make sure not to judge or analyze your thoughts. Here's the thing that you will be doing differently. Most people have no problem seeing mental images flash through their mind. But the problem is, once that happens, they get all emotionally caught up. For example, you had an ex who cheated on you, stole from you, or otherwise did bad things to you. How do you think you would feel when you see something that reminds you of him or her? You probably don't feel all that good. Now with this technique, when the mental image or the picture or the likeness of your ex comes to your mind, your rule is that you let the image flash, but you will hold judgment. You're not going to analyze it. You're just going to acknowledge that this is the image of my ex, this is the image of my boss, this is a scene from my childhood, this is a scene where I was let go at work, this is a scene at jail. Whatever the case may be, you're seeing all these mental images, but you're not judging. You are acknowledging. It's very important that you know the distinction. You're not engaged in pretending to not see something. For example, if there was a fire in your childhood, you're not going to say, well, this was a happy moment in my childhood. No, this was a fire in my childhood. But this is going to be different from this is a very traumatizing childhood memory that basically destroyed my life because I lost both parents. Do you see the difference? There's no judgment here. You just say, this is a fire that happened when I was a child. It's stripped out of all emotional baggage. It's stripped out of all emotional trauma. Acknowledge and describe in a very objective, flat, and neutral way. This is not going to happen overnight. If you are carrying around a very heavy weight, maybe child sexual abuse, maybe you were unjustly punished. Whatever the case may be, you just need to focus on what you see. Do not judge. Do not analyze. Just acknowledge it and then move on to the next step. Step number 5. Let your thoughts pass like clouds. One of my fondest childhood memories involves me and my cousins just going up to this little hill, and for what seemed like hours, we would just lay back on the grass and watch the clouds pass by. My cousin would say, "That's a bicycle." I would say, "No, that looks more like a dog." There was, of course, no right or wrong answer. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Every person's guess was as good as all others. It was a lot of fun because we were exercising our imaginations. We were, after all, just watching clouds pass by. There were countless clouds before them, and there will be countless clouds after them. They are here one moment and gone the next. I want you to do the same with your thoughts, but let them pass like clouds. Just like clouds, your thoughts just pass through. Let them pass. Don't deny them. Don't pretend they are something else. Don't argue with them. Don't bargain with yourself. Just observe the thought clouds honestly. In other words, when the mental image flashes, acknowledge it. For example, this is a fire that happened when I was 3 years old. This is an image of my parents about to leave for the United States when I was 3 years old. Whatever image you have from the past, strip it of all emotional judgment or analysis. Make sure you empty the mental image of any emotional content that might trip you up or set you off into an emotional analysis. Compare this. This is the fire that happened when I was 3 years old. 2. This is that devastating fire that made my family homeless for 3 years. My father was very angry during that fire, and he has not stopped being angry since. We lost it all. I was only 3 years old. See the difference? The first case involved just describing the facts, nothing more, nothing less. The other case includes a lot of analysis and commentary. These lead to you getting thrown off track. Learn to spot the difference. Recognize the point when you stopped objectively describing and started emotionally reacting. It doesn't make it any less real, mind you, but you're just acknowledging it because we're not engaged in self-delusion here. We're not trying to trick ourselves or hypnotize ourselves into thinking that these events, which ultimately are very traumatic and hurtful, did not happen. Instead, you're just acknowledging. And then the next step is what makes it really powerful. When you acknowledge, you then let it pass like a cloud. Just like a cloud, it's going to zoom over your head. It's going to linger slowly, depending on how strong the wind is. But you just let it pass. Eventually, it will pass. Step number 6, enjoy the emotional distance. When you repeat this over several weeks, you start noticing emotional distance. Mental images, memories, or what have you, that used to throw you off track no longer do. Maybe there was a memory that used to make you cry like you were on autopilot. Now you don't do that. You just say, "Well, that happened to me when I was 4 years old and my housekeeper was in that memory." Then you let it pass. "Well, that happened to be, and my boss said something and I was let go and I found another job." You let it pass. "Well, that was my best friend and my ex-girlfriend." You let the memory pass. You do this over and over again, and the more successful you become at it, the greater the emotional distance. Eventually, all that stuff that used to drag you down and hold you back is left in the past. Congratulations. Meditation best practices. Meditation is like working out. When you work out, you put a lot of stress on your muscles. That's how they get bigger. That's how they get leaner. That's how they get stronger. The same applies to your mental muscles, because that's what meditation is. It's a mental workout. Physical muscles get soft if you don't challenge them or you don't put pressure on them. With meditation, you're going to challenge and put pressure on your mental muscles. Believe me, it is quite a workout to let a mental image just pass over your head like a cloud without judging it. For example, there was an episode of your childhood that used to burn you through your core because it was really humiliating. It was disgusting. Whatever it was, it takes effort to do that. But that's how you challenge your mental muscles. And the more pressure you put on it, the stronger it gets. Practice daily. The good news here is that you don't have to spend all day meditating. In fact, if you're doing that, you're overdoing it. That's probably going to do more harm than good. Instead, focus on spending no more than 15 minutes a day. With meditation, a little bit of consistency goes a long way. So focus on your meditative practice for no more than 15 minutes every day. 15 minutes is plenty. Associate your meditative state with certain stimuli. This is for advanced students. Usually, by this point, it will probably take months, if not years. But most people, if they're consistent, will reach this point. When you perceive any new stimuli, allow yourself to focus on your meditative state. You're basically linking the meditative state of peace, calm, inner serenity, and harmony with stimuli that normally upsets you. For example, if you work with an ex, it can be quite uncomfortable, awkward, and frustrating. This person broke your heart, this person cheated on you, or you're embarrassed because it didn't work out. Whatever the case may be, is going to be very hard to handle that stimuli. After you've meditated and you've gained some emotional distance, allow yourself to look for that stimuli and link it with a meditative state. In other words, you are replacing the stress, discomfort, and embarrassment that you normally feel when you perceive that stimuli. Maybe it involves seeing the face of your ex or hearing his or her voice, whatever the case may be. Now, you're replacing it with a meditative state. The meditative state, of course, involves a sense of calm, being in control, clarity, peace, healing, restoration. So instead of that person's voice or image just stressing you out, upsetting you, now it calms you down. You say to yourself, I'm okay. There's nothing to get hung up about. I can deal with this situation, this person, these memories at a certain level, and I'll be okay. Sure, in the beginning this is going to be difficult because of your mental habits. When you were just starting out, the urge to go back to your old reactive patterns with its rush of negative emotions seems to be all but irresistible. This is the hardest part, but you can overcome. Choose to override this natural tendency, and it will get easier and easier to respond to life stimuli based on your highest values instead of your feelings or whatever is convenient or easy. The more opportunities you seek to practice your newfound power over your emotions, the stronger your mind becomes. It also makes the link between certain positive stimuli and positive emotions or positive mental states. Of course, none of this happens all at once. It takes time. Still, every time you successfully choose to focus on being calm and successfully recall the mental calmness of your meditative state, the easier it gets. The secret is practice. Interestingly enough, to get the practice you need, you actually have to seek out situations or stimuli that normally stress you out. That's the only way you can test out your ability to recall a calm inner peace. Usually, people do not need help recalling stressful, embarrassing, traumatic, or painful memories. Start there. Since these are thoughts, you have a lot more control over the thought and the outcome. Compare the above to testing out your meditative recall skills on actual people. People can be quite random. You might have a very sticky situation on your hands, and unlike memories, there's no rewind button if you end up saying or doing something that harms your relationship or takes it to a much lower level. Regardless of how you do it, give yourself the opportunity to consistently test out your ability to recall that state of mental calm, serenity, and peace. In that special space you have built for yourself within your mind, there's no need to prove anything. You don't have to be somebody else. There are no painful memories. There is no worrying future. Instead, you just have calm in the here and now. Understand that you always have this available. Get some hope from this fact. Call this link at will. Once you have trained yourself to remember that meditative state when situations present themselves, the next step is to call it at will, meaning you yourself will trigger that meditative state. You no longer need stimuli. That's when you have reached a higher level of practical meditation because that sense of calm, release, and objective distance that you feel with your emotions pretty much persists on a 24/7 basis. You only need to choose to call that meditative state to being, and it happens. You now know it like the back of your hand. Conclusion. All the things that I've taught you here are the product of several years of meditation and mindfulness practice. There are lots of pitfalls. There are lots of dead ends. There are lots of false leads and false positives. I've weeded all those out, and I've presented to you meditative practices that work. However, these materials will not work for you until and unless you commit to doing them. It's really important that you go through this training in order. Don't skip. Don't jump ahead. Focus on it one step at a time. This way, you will be able to fully benefit from the techniques that I have described in this training. It is also important that you focus on consistency. A lot of people think that meditation is just another activity that they engage in because they're looking for a result. They are looking for some sort of solution. While that may ultimately be the truth, please understand that you must look at meditation and mindfulness as ends in and of themselves. In other words, they're not just means to an end. They don't just enable you to go where you really want to go. Instead, they must be your destination. They must find some sort of value in doing them. That value must be in the act itself. If you're able to do this, then it becomes part of you. It becomes part of your personality in addition to your daily routine. You will then be able to put yourself in a position where you will level up your ability to focus, stay in the present moment, achieve emotional distance and emotional clarity. Ultimately, it's all a choice. You have to exercise that choice. You have to be responsible for yourself, your thoughts, and your actions. Do it today. One of the most common problems I've noticed people experience with meditation is the fact that they feel that they would be able to do it only when things are right. They feel that they have to feel a certain way. They think that certain conditions have to be present in their life for them to do this. What you're doing is you're just giving yourself excuses to not start. I'm telling you, if you don't even get yourself to start, you are failing. You're not dealing with your stress. You're not getting your life back. You're not setting things in order as far as your mental peace and tranquility are concerned. You're achieving nothing. You might be thinking that you're researching book after book about meditation, but what you're really doing is just giving yourself an excuse to not start. You have to understand that when it comes to any kind of profound personal change, our number one enemy is ourselves. The paradox of self-sabotage. I know it sounds kind of weird. You know how frustrated you are. You know that you feel that something is missing in your life. You know that you're not fully content. You understand that meditation can help you achieve some sort of balance. You understand that meditation can lead to a greater sense of inner peace. Why in the world would you want to get in the way of that? Why in the world would you want to sabotage that? Well, it's actually quite simple. We're all creatures of habit. We get accustomed to things. We grow attached to things. Once you do things a certain way and you think about things a certain way, you feel that you're stuck in that pattern. You feel that you're not capable of going outside of that pattern. I know it sounds weird, but you know that you're not really all that happy. But ultimately, at some level or another, most people would rather deal with the devil they know rather than roll the dice and take chances with something better. They know they're not happy. They know that things could be so much better, but they're afraid of trying something new. These are the issues that you have to confront with. They will crop up sooner rather than later. I share them with you and I shine a light on them at this point in the training so you can spot them a mile away. Understand that when you start bargaining with yourself about why you should not meditate at the appointed time, you're basically giving in to this. This is all too predictable. This is to be expected. Now that you know that you're going to be playing all sorts of games with yourself, stick to your resolve. Stick to the game plan. Understand that there's a lot at stake. You're trying to get your life back. You're trying to gain control of your emotional and mental processes. You can be so much more productive, and you can be so much more effective if you overcome your old patterns. Unfortunately, if you allow yourself to make all sorts of excuses and justifications to go back to your old way of thinking, you give up a tremendous future for convenience. You've grown to love your chains. One of my favorite philosophers in college was the French Enlightenment thinker Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Rousseau said, "Man was born free, but everywhere he is in chains." This quote, of course, is all about political philosophy, but Rousseau was absolutely right on a personal level. We are born free. We are born with a tremendous amount of possibility. We are born with a tremendous amount of personal power. We have it in us to do great things. If you are doubtful of this, just think of the great thinkers, builders, and innovators of this world. Think about people who managed to build vast fortunes even though they were born with nothing. People have potential. All of us do. If successful people can succeed, you can too. How do I know? Well, each choice you make is an exercise of power. You have all this unlimited potential in you, and it all flows from the fact that you have a choice. Your choice gives you power of the things you think about, talk about, and the things that you think you are capable of doing. But the reason why you feel so powerless, so limited, so small is because you've allowed yourself to live in a neat, tidy little box. This box indicates what you can and cannot do. This box indicates what you are, what you're about, and what you are not. Nobody put you in that box. You chose to be in that box. You chose to live in a mental prison. It's as if everybody's walking around with this tremendous amount of personal potential, but they're looking at their chains. They're saying to themselves, "I'm a victim. I'm wearing these chains." Little do they know that the key is in their hands. Understand what is at stake. You have no excuse. You only have choices. I wish you nothing but victory.